Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Next Issue podcast. Clay, I really like the transition from Jenna Ortega to Josh.
I know, I do too.
it's very in character. I like it. There is no better way to start a Saturday than with that song "Tank" by the Seagulls. Yeah. Jazzes me up. And I'm already out of here.
This early. I didn't realize I was going to have to Bernie so early, but here we are. All right. Welcome, everyone. We have the crew back together. Maybe, is this the first time this year? I know the year just started, but I think so, right?
I think so, yeah.
And then Josh Mishwan, and yeah.
Well,
cool. On today's show, we're gonna wrap up 2022. We already talked about comics. We already talked about movies. There's other media out there apparently that they do make, like specifically TV shows and then books without pictures. What the fuck?
Yeah, what?
Like
I don't buy into any of that stuff, but
something called music. I don't know what that is, but
I thought they started making music after I graduated high school. That's why I just been listening to the same stuff.
Who are you, me? What's going on?
Yeah.
Music ended in 2002.
Once U2 dropped that album into everyone's iPhones, I think music.
That, you know what? You're absolutely correct. That is a critical turning point in the music industry.
I tried to delete that permanently, and I can't.
You can't. That's the day the music died.
It's the herpes of music.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Sure, we'll call it that. Every once in a while, just it flares back up, and then the song comes on. I'm sure. We did not have in the notes that we were going to start with herpes talk, but here we are. So let's pivot. Let's pivot. I don't even know how to pivot from that, so we're just gonna move on. So yeah, let's quickly. I am setting a very hard time limit on this, of like. I'm gonna say
let's go
45 minutes because there's so much we haven't talked. Like, we have the notes document is a fucking mess right now. Because we haven't talked about all our stuff like we've been doing on a weekly basis. So I don't want to delete anything. So now I've started color coding things like, okay, blue stuff is the stuff that was in the document before, and add new stuff if you want. So yeah, please, everyone, as you're doing this, review your notes. Make sure that we haven't talked about what's on there already. But yeah, let's go to stuff. We'll go around the table once again, and I'll be brief on some of the stuff, and because there's so much to talk about. But I do have a lot of TV shows that I watched last year, as I'm sure you guys did as well, and we can kind of chime in. I think I'm trying to figure out what should be at the top of the list, and I pulled up a list from Den of Geek and kind of riffing off of theirs, but I think I'm gonna agree with them and say that Andor, to me, was the best television show last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any thoughts, disagreements? Feel free to disagree.
I still need to watch it, but I've heard it's really, 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 really good. I know. I just kick me off the show.
I
I haven't watched it either.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. Well, we
Man.
never watched the Batman either, so nothing surprises me anymore, Kyle.
Andor is just, I mean, it's so hard to explain how good it is because even the politics are good. When you
Yeah.
expect Star Wars politics, you're like, oh, are we going to start talking about like, tariffs and all the idiotic shit of the prequels? And it's like, what?
Some of us like the tariff talk on the prequel.
Nobody
And those
likes
people
the
are
tariff-
wrong.
tariff talks. You know that action playset you got as a kid, the Tariff Round Room? I
I
mean,
wish. Oh, give me that little Star Wars TurboTax.
I
I would have did my taxes in the Star Wars universe. In the Star Wars universe, you pay like 90% tax to the Empire.
Yeah, so it's easy to do. So taxes are very easy to calculate.
The turbo tax part of it is when the stormtroopers show up to collect.
Yeah, say what you will, the Empire will provide you with the software to calculate your taxes.
Yeah.
Unlike some other governments.
except like Stormtrooper shooting a gun, it always misses. So it's
Yeah, good luck trying to get a refund there.
right.
I have a lot of shows that I think compete for the best show of the year.
Yeah, I'll throw two quick ones. I don't know if you guys watch these. I was going back through the notes. I don't think either of you had them on your list. So, one is The Bear from Hulu. It's the
Got it.
Okay.
I have heard that's really good. I keep seeing ads for it
It's-
on Hulu.
It's a quick binge.
Yeah, it's like 4
Okay.
hours all total. But yeah,
Really?
no pun intended. Chef's kiss. I'm lying. That was completely intended.
That was completely season
Uh,
2's coming out, right?
Yes.
I
Okay.
hope so
And then-
because
and-
like season 1 like catches you off guard and tells you a story you're not expecting and blows you away.
Nice.
Especially if you work. I've worked in the food industry. I've never worked in a place like that, or even a fancy restaurant that has an actual chef. But like, you'll get something out of it. I think if you worked in even in just the service industry overall. And then the other Hulu show I wanted to mention was The Patient. This is the Steve Carell and what's his name? General Hux.
Oh yeah.
Eddie Redmayne, I think.
No.
Yep.
No.
Eddie Redmayne's the other guy.
Yeah, he's the other guy.
Yeah, but The Patient, really, really good. Once again, out of nowhere. Domhnall Gleeson.
Yeah.
Domhnall Gleeson. It is General Hux though. But yeah, it's really good. It's 10 episodes, are about 30 minutes each as well. So they're like, so I think Hulu's doing these like smaller dramas that could probably that are just probably long movies, but they're taking care to making like into episodic things because they were really well done. I really enjoyed both of those, but I didn't hear enough people talk. I think The Bear caught some heat at the end of the year, like as people were like
I
putting
saw a
together
lot
stuff.
of ads for that. That
Yeah.
was really heavily
Yeah.
promoted.
Yeah.
And I never watched the show that the actors on what's it, the one about the family of drunks in Showtime.
Shameless.
Oh
Shameless,
yeah.
I don't, I'm glad we got there for that description because I'm sure it's accurate, but I don't think it's fully accurate.
I could have dropped a lot of names in that one, and that would have been accurate.
Well, the problem is I forgot the name of the dad, and I can only remember him right now from Jurassic Park 3.
That's your go-to?
He's the
He's the
shoveler.
shoveler,
William
yeah.
H. Macy. William H.
There you
Macy.
go.
There we go.
He's
He
yeah.
shovels, and he shovels well.
He was recently in an episode of The Connors. So if for anybody
Really?
still watching that,
I know.
Yeah, because he has to work because his wife can't get hired because she was part of that school scandal.
oh, that's right. Oh yeah,
That's right. I was trying to remember who his wife was.
that's all right. He's got
That's
ER
the real show. Is their family should be doing a documentary called Shameless.
William H. Macy. I'm sure he's got that ER money still.
Also, William H. Macy this year was a really in a great role in the oh my god, what was the Drop movie about Elizabeth Holmes that was on Hulu?
Oh yes.
The
Dropout.
Dropout, yeah. William H.
Yeah.
Macy in makeup plays this kind of troll, this patent troll, and is so amazing in it because he plays like an extreme asshole, and you only get bits of him, but he's like probably the best thing in the whole show. It's just yeah, he plays a great role in that.
Nice. Well, we'll use these to just keep going, Clay. We'll use this as a segue for you.
Okay, yeah, because I would say like one thing I saw that a lot this year was the TV takeoff of either a real crime or podcast, that became a TV show like The Dropout. And I kind of I hope that dies quickly because most of the time they kind of elaborate on a lot of the dialogue. The podcasts are usually better. The Dr. Death podcast about the spinal surgeon in Dallas.
I listened to that podcast.
Was fantastic.
It's really good. Yeah.
It translated to film really well.
Nice.
Joshua Jackson plays the doctor, and you're like, oh, Pacey? He's good Pacey. Dude plays him like all messed up, doing all this stuff for women, for this and that. He plays it so good, so it's really worth watching. And there's some supporting roles. You can't believe, like Alec Baldwin just hanging out before he, now has been indicted. Or being charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, Jesus. 2 counts.
And Christian Slater. They're like supporting roles to Joshua Jackson's main character in this. And there's a part in the podcast where they talk about they're looking at the spine of someone.
Yeah.
And how the doctor didn't really put the screws in. He just kind of laid them in the body and sewed it up. They kind of have that moment in the show because it stuck with me so much from the podcast.
Yeah.
I remember it in the show. But again, you have to you can't trust that all these, situations actually happened the way the podcast recreates it with real people. That's what I get kind of tired of those shows. There was another one, and I'm trying to remember. It was another Peacock exclusive, but I'm drawing a blank. But I'll go to one of my favorite shows of the year, The Rehearsal. Did anyone watch The Rehearsal? But
I keep meaning to. You told me to, and I just haven't.
Oh my God! If you enjoy Nathan For You, you have to watch The Rehearsal because it's on another level, and it's
interesting.
I can't explain it without explaining the entire show, but on a basic level. Nathan's concept is, what if you had the chance to rehearse for your biggest moments in life? So he starts off the show by putting out a Craigslist ad for people who would like to deal with an issue, and they could practice it and then deal with it in real life. And that's how they were going to play it out. And then it builds to Nathan wanting to practice his life and then you're just at points where you're not even sure, is this real? Is this a real show? Are these real people? Because the people are so insane. You're like, this is an act. So it's really hard to tell. But I think for the most part, even since it's finished airing, they are real people. And this show is insane.
It's scary.
The only other element to it is when Nathan kind of transitions to a part, he brings on a woman who has this idea of what she wants in life. She wants to be married, live out in kind of a rural area, raise her kid, and farm and do all this shit. So they set up a scenario for her to have this and try to live this and see if it's possible. And so they would do extreme aging. So they would give her a baby during the day that while it would leave the room would come back and it'd be like a year older. And they keep transitioning kids into the situation. And you're like, you would watch a kid come in that's an actor who's 5. And then he would act, and then he would later, they put him to bed, and then a 10-year-old would get up, and they just would continue to advance the age so that the parents could deal with every aspect of that kid's life. And it's all practice, or is it? That's
right.
After the first episode, I hope you get hooked enough to watch the rest of them because it veers off from that first episode a lot. But just the things he builds to make it happen is insane. Like he even talks about at one point, he's like, it's costing me $3,000 a month to pretend that there's snow at this house. And you see a snow machine that has just encircled the house. And it's dumb because it doesn't matter, but it's for the story.
Right. God, that's amazing.
But yeah, if you don't like that level of weirdness, a new genre I discovered this year was hope punk. It's, I guess, born out of cyberpunk and post-apocalyptic type stories where it's dealing with the aftermath of something big, but there's this sense of hope from it. And I read Station 11 and Station 11, the TV show, and absolutely loved it. Like the TV show is what hooked me and brought me in, and seeing how they laid it out from the book was amazing. I mean, it was really a great story. I remember watching it at the beginning of the year going, I have to keep talking about this because this was so good. But it's just about a virus that hits and the people that survive and how they survive.
What?
Like the little moments of hope as
That would
opposed to
never
The
happen.
Walking Dead.
A
It's just
virus
these
that
little...
changes the world? That's fiction.
The pockets of hope are so good in the story and told so well. Like it's the anti-Walking Dead. So instead of all those moments where you see people turn and give up and have lost all hope, there are moments of hope and things turning for the better in this.
Do they develop a vaccine and then everyone willingly takes it and we get out of the mess as a society?
Well, the best part of it is the story is based around a comic book. There's a girl who is writing this comic book story, and somehow that ends up in this other girl's hand that you follow through this deal. And so she grows up reading this comic, and she's so in awe of like everything about it, and puts it in her terms of her world. Like she sees Station 11, the comic.
Oh no!
The
The government shut Clay down. They've had enough of his propaganda.
They were like, "Oh no, he's aware of Station 11. Let's take him to Station 12." Oh no, poor Clay.
Damn. Okay, well, we got to move on. Unfortunately, sorry, Clay. we'll get Josh. Why don't we'll go to you and then we'll loop back to Clay on his.
And I'm back.
And he's back.
Oh, there
you go. We thought the government got you.
No.
Yeah.
Daniel's trying to take my time away. I'm not allowing this.
The government's already poisoned me once. Keep coming.
We're on a time crunch, Clay. We don't have the time for this.
But the last little note on that is this comic book is so important to this kid, and it's neat to see this origin of the comic because it's just a girl who, for the first time, expresses herself in written and visual form. So there aren't that many copies of this comic, but it becomes so important to this girl that it's like she carries it with her everywhere. It's like, her blanket of safety.
I get it.
Would you say, all right, so if I wanted to experience Station 11, should I just read the book or should I just go ahead and watch the show?
Watch the show.
Well,
I hate to say it, but the show
I get it.
Than the book. The show is better than the book.
Yeah.
Because there's a character that's a bigger player in the show that I just absolutely love. And you'll recognize the actor because he's in something that we all watched and enjoyed. So,
okay.
And I'll just leave it at that because he's a minor character in the book. Like he's such a minor character, you're kind of disappointed because you don't see his journey that they do in the film or do in the series, which is much, much better.
Sometimes they make changes for the better, like adding Daryl or just the entirety of the boys.
Yeah, I mean they pivot. I mean, and my last show that's probably one of my favorite of the year has been the way the Orville has pivoted to New Horizons.
I need to watch that.
It's doing better Star Trek than Star Trek. Period.
It's kind of always done better Star Trek than Star Trek. So
I don't know about that. You haven't seen all season of Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds, I have watched all of it, and I still say the Orville. I mean, I love Strange New Worlds, and I think it's fantastic. I love Anson Mount. Like, the fact that he didn't get a chance to really be Black Bolt kind of sucks, because I think he's a great actor. He was really good in Hell on Wheels. but seeing him as this kind of captain who knows his fate, I love that. I love his storyline and his arc in that show.
Cool.
That's it. That's it for like my favorite stuff.
Okay, Josh, what else you got?
So if we're just doing TV at the moment, I don't have a lot because I tend to spend so much time watching old shit.
We know.
Yeah, exactly. So, so for instance, I've been rewatching Twin Peaks because I gave a talk last Friday. That's why I wasn't here Saturday. I have gotten my daughter hooked on classic Night Court, which I think my wife is like, what the fuck? But she also loves Frasier. So go figure. But of the shows, I know. But of the shows that came out last year that I really, 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 really loved, and I see other people added them on here too, so we can discuss it. Our Flag Means Death, season 1 was just incredible. Now, I will say with the caveat that you've got to get to episode 4.
Yes.
If you just watch the first 3, you're kind of like, meh, it's fine. And we almost gave up on it. Like we were watching it at dinner and we're like, it's not clicking. There's something wrong. And then 4 hits and you're like, and particularly with Leslie Jones, you're just like, oh, this is great, and then it just gets better and better and better and better. And then you get invested in the romance and then the way that it ends. So I think everyone's on pins and needles waiting for season 2.
Because it might be the last season, the way HBO is going. Because
shit, I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah,
it got renewed really early, like while it was airing. So I mean, I know that production started right away. That's my concern is that season 2 will be the last season.
Man, I don't know, because it definitely, like What We Do in the Shadows, has a core cast and story that it could go on for a few seasons. But as I say that, I'm also realizing, unlike What We Do in the Shadows, there is a central story there. And if they resolve it, you may not want more, right? So it could be a 2 and done.
Hey, one of the best episodes of What We Do in the Shadows was the house flipping episode this season.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which I love how, when after the success of the Jackie Daytona episode, they said, we're going to kind of do one every episode. I was worried that was going to become a thing where it's like one of them leaves, like they're going to take the central idea of it. That's not what it is. It is always like, it's
outside of the show altogether. It becomes a different show because that became a property show, the way it was filmed and everything.
The style, everything.
If anything, it gave us this.
Really are the most devious bastard in New York City.
Well, that's all we got out of it. But it's not. There's so much more.
My daughter and I cannot pronounce Tucson, Arizona correctly anymore because we go Tucson, Arizona. Oh God, it's so good.
Cool.
So those are some I liked. I put it on here. I didn't see it on here. I really liked She-Hulk. Now again, I want to stress I am not caught up on all the MCU shows, right? I'm still only halfway through Moon Knight, which is good. I have not started Ms. Marvel, which I really want to watch, but She-Hulk was just great. It was, for me, a breath of fresh air, right? Because I think so many of the MCU shows had been playing with different genres, but often being very, very serious. And then She-Hulk comes along and kind of gets what She-Hulk, at least with the Byrne reboot, did, which is it's self-aware, it's funny, and to kind of make it a show that could really touch on contemporary issues because it was self-aware. I thought it was great, and screw all the haters.
Yeah, I mean, I love that it took shot at the haters. So I mean, it was kind of built to just shoot at its own haters right away. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that was fun. That's good. Cool. All right, we'll come back around. Kyle, what did you like last year?
Let's see.
Anything that's not not just have to be TV shows.
Stranger
okay.
Cobra Kai season 5. Again, was still my
No.
real thing from last
You saw
year.
they announced that the last one's the next one's the last one, right?
Yeah, they just released
Okay.
a trailer. No new footage, but it was basically just, a highlight from the past 5 seasons, and it's coming. They said soon, so hopefully in the next couple months.
And you got 2 seasons in the same year, right? Because I believe the
Yeah.
4 dropped at the
You're
beginning.
right.
like-
4 did drop early. in the
yeah,
year.
cool.
Let's see what else was there. I mean, unfortunately, it finished off, but Stargirl, again, and this will probably be its last one. But even we got season 2 of Superman and Lois, which was really good. The whole
Yes.
thing of Bizarro throughout the whole season.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, hell, the holiday specials from Marvel.
Yeah.
As up and down as it was, Obi-Wan.
Okay.
I think it had some really fun stuff.
Oh yeah, I think the interaction between, giving a really good interaction fights between Obi-Wan and Vader, I think was nice. Compared to everything.
And it's just cool to see them again sharing the screen.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. The fact it was actually Hayden Christensen actually playing Vader, that was the
Mhm.
highlight.
That was huge. I thought that was probably the best Star Wars moment this year.
yeah, I know. Also, it feels like it's been forever, but Peacemaker was 2022, which I think
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Peacemaker. Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think we can all agree because I figured that might be on your list.
Yeah.
Who thought
I mean-
a piece of shit could be redemptive like Peacemaker?
Right. And again, I will just say, as reticent as I am about Gunn taking over the DC EU, Peacemaker was great. And if he can do more stuff like Peacemaker, then more power to him. I worry what he's being asked to do by the new heads of HBO and Warner Brothers is not Peacemaker. So,
Right.
wow.
yeah.
And I'm gonna. This is more jokingly, but I know Daniel's gonna give me crap for it. But the announcement of No More Snyderverse.
Here, hey, look, never forget.
Oh my!
I can always go
Nice.
back and watch them. And we're getting Rebel Moon at the end of the year, so I'm getting another Zack Snyder movie, regardless of whatever.
And I never said the man shouldn't work. I just didn't want him in control of the DC universe.
Yeah, no,
Never,
I get
hashtag
that.
never forget Superman can murder people.
I mean,
You know,
James Gunn produced Brightburn, but whatever.
There's Brightburn.
I mean, technically, he murdered one person, and 2, he did in the comic books.
No, Peacemaker, #1 show for Leonard Kim. Yeah,
he
I
did
mean,
kill Zod and his 2 minions in the comic book. That's what made him go insane.
Yeah, in the
Wow.
movie, where do you think that dude fell? Like when he fell, wrapped up in cellophane. You think he survived that?
Yes.
No, okay.
No.
Well, then maybe Zod survived the breaking of his neck.
But seeing someone wrapped in cellophane and floating away in space is way different than watching a guy grab another man's neck and twist his head so far that it snaps.
You know, he didn't
And
want
he's
to.
supposed to be the bastion of hope for that entire universe.
Hey,
That's what
So,
his symbol means.
what's your Batman look like?
We saw that.
Yeah.
super
But,
cool.
but what's wild is at the end of the Batman, he agrees to be a signal for hope, and it's like,
But no,
So
you can't really talk about Batman killing people. I mean, hell, Keaton's Batman killed people in his movie.
That's right.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
believe Batman kills people.
We don't.
He just doesn't use guns. That's the thing. You gotta.
Come on. The new
Not
producer's
until the Dark
name is
Knight
James
issue
Gunn.
4.
Yeah.
It's right there in his name.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going because we don't have time for today here on that. And then, of course, I think Kyle on your list. I'm sure Strange New Worlds and another Star Trek.
Yeah, I already said that. Yeah.
But
That's, I mean, kind of all I can think of right now.
cool. I'm gonna just touch on some quick adaptations of other works that kind of had new life on TV. House of the Dragon. I love that show. I know a lot of people were not happy with the way Game of Thrones ended. I'm sorry. I enjoyed it. And I think House of the Dragon is really, really good. I can't wait till whatever they do next season. I also think The Sandman
I need to keep watching that. I watched episode 1 and loved it, but I just
episode 5.
I don't know what happened. Yeah.
Episode 5 and translating that conflict between whatever happened in whatever you read the comics.
Yeah.
The conflict between Lucifer and Morpheus.
Yeah.
Translating that into live action. Amazing.
When he's is that when he's got to get his helm? Which object is that
correct.
one? The
Yeah,
helm.
the helm.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Also, Interview with a Vampire. Really
I need to watch that. All right. So it's good, right?
It's amazing. Like this new show, Mayfair Witches, is not as good.
Okay.
But Interview with a Vampire is amazing. Like it is so well done.
Are both by the same showrunner?
They're not. They're different.
Okay.
So each, I guess, a different team is adapting all these works by Anne Rice.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, Interview with a Vampire. You haven't seen it? Go check it out. And then the last, of course, The Rings of Power. Fuck. I mean, if you're a Lord of the Rings,
I need to
fan,
see that too.
You may like it. You may not. I don't know. It depends on what kind of Lord of the Rings fan you are. I guess. I'm a casual fan that is not attached to any lore by any means because I haven't read any of that stuff. So take it with a grain of salt, but really good. And the last thing I'll mention, I know we already did. There's not a lot of sitcoms that I would put in like the best of the year. We already talked about What We Do in the Shadows, and we talked about it all year long because we all love that show. But also, Abbott Elementary.
Yes,
I can't wait till every Thursday morning to watch Abbott Elementary as I'm getting ready for work.
I do like that show.
It is.
And this week's was one of the best.
Oh my god!
Like it was so good. It was so good.
It is so well done. It is so like I can't believe that I took so long to finally watch that show.
Oh really? Okay, yeah.
When it was airing, I didn't watch it till and I love watching sitcoms. I just like sometimes ABC it's very hit or miss with their stuff, but
yeah.
Out of all the 4 things that air on Wednesday nights, which is the Connors, the Home Economics, Abbott, and the Goldbergs, I watched 3 out of the 4. I'm not a big fan of the Goldbergs.
Yeah.
I think the Connors, I don't know why. I used to watch a lot of the Roseanne show growing up in the morning whenever they're showing the reruns. So and I think what's his name? John Goodman is just hilarious. He's such a funny dude.
Yeah.
That I just kind of want to follow that story. And then Home Economics is just right. It's between both shows. So I'll just watch the whole full hour block.
You're like, the TV's on. I may as well just watch it. Yeah.
Sitcoms have just kind of become background shows. None of them are just solid home runs. There's no 30 Rock anymore.
Yeah.
There's no Arrested Development.
I think Abbott is the latest thing that hopefully once it's done with 5 or 6 seasons, that'll also just kind of throw into that loop of Parks and Rec, Community, stuff like that where you just throw it on because it's so funny. And you go back and I don't know, a lot of I went to public school growing up, so a lot of the situations really resonate too. So,
yeah.
So
And I feel like the thing about Abbott, and I almost hate using this term. It's not that it's an acquired taste. It's that it's if you're used to shows like later Parks and Rec or The Office again later on, where you can expect laugh out loud funny moments at certain intervals. Mm-hmm. Abbott Elementary is really not like that. It's more just like a low-lying kind of humor, with heart. And so, I laughed out loud this week at kind of one moment, but I had a smile on my face throughout the other 29 minutes. It's just such a good show. So,
I really liked the one a couple weeks ago about the fight.
Yeah.
The two students getting to a fight.
The two and then they have their 8th grade sisters.
Cool. That's kind of all I have. I mean, there's a lot of anime that I watch, but I'm making a video about that. So
nice.
It's
going to be.
Does anyone watch Welcome to Flatch?
I tried.
We watched season 1. We haven't picked up with season 2.
Season 2 adds Jamie Presley to the mix.
I saw
really?
Yeah, she is a descendant of the founder of Flatch. So, and she's probably the best addition. Like, she does bring a lot, but then they kind of suppress Anya Cash's character a lot. And I hate that because she was kind of the weird one who had the perspective on all the weird people there.
Right.
But like I don't know, like there's parts of it that are really great and parts of it that are kind of meh. You know?
I catch little clips because the DVR records like a little bit, and I do watch My Name is Kat.
The Mia Bollock show.
Yeah, which man, so the last few episodes have been really sad because it was the last few with Leslie.
Jones.
Yeah, I know exactly who you mean. Jones, who just passed.
Yeah, he just passed. So like they finally got to like writing him off the show. And like
Leslie Jordan.
Leslie Jordan, is that?
Yeah, it's Leslie Jordan.
Yeah, I keep thinking of his character in Will and Grace. Because the name was also Leslie, so I wasn't sure if I was just making that up in my head or not.
Leslie Jones is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Leslie Jordan.
Isn't Leslie Jones who I referenced earlier? And isn't she?
Yeah.
She's currently the first guest. She's currently the first guest host of the Daily Show. And just as a weird reference, go watch the clip of her talking about the MLK sculpture in Boston. I nearly fell out of my chair laughing so hard. It is so good. And I teach art, for fuck's sake, and I'm like, oh god, this is just brilliant. Anyway, shut up.
You agree? I hope you incorporate that into your curriculum.
I'm afraid I'd have to talk about some stuff I don't want to bring up in class.
Okay. Fair.
All
right. You know what? Assign it as extra credit.
There you go. Yeah. So I have a great book from last year. I want to bring up, if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
Literally finished it last night. And I forget where I heard about it. It was probably like on NPR or something. It's a book called The Man Who Invented Motion Pictures. And it is amazing. It is one of those rare books that is both like compelling. Like I could not wait to get through it. And then when I got through it, I was like, but also it's incredibly like informative. So there was a French artist named Louis Le Prince, who 7 years before either Edison or the Lumiere brothers ever like patented what they had done, invented a motion picture camera. And as he is about to travel, his family at that time live in New York. As he's about to travel home, he goes to Paris to see his brother, gets on a train, and is never seen again. And his wife later blames Edison, saying, because he always had these like kind of cryptic comments, her husband, that people were watching him. He wasn't really paranoid, but he knew that people, as secretive as he's trying to be about his process, were aware of it. This book is it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And so if you want a book that is both about the creation of an entire medium, the creation of an industry, the creation of an art form, and a murder mystery, go read this book. It's The Man Who Invented Motion Pictures by Paul Fisher. Now, I want to give one caveat. I listened to the audiobook of it. And the narrator of the audiobook is incredible. She is really, really, really good. I do not recommend the audiobook, though. The reason why is because the writer has a tendency to pepper all of his writing with snippets of text from letters and court documents and so on, which is fine. But when it translates to audio, I'm talking hundreds of times, the narrator goes, quote, unquote. And it disrupts the flow of the story, because it'll be like mid-sentence. It'll be like, and then Le Prince went, quote, da-da-da-da-da, unquote. And then he, quote, da-da-da-da-da, unquote. And then he, quote, da-da-da, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, like, it's ruining the flow, It's neither the narrator's fault. It's neither the writer's fault. It's simply that weird transference from print to audio. Mm-hmm. But regardless, despite that, 5-star book. Really, really good.
I'll wait for the true crime podcast about
the
disappearance of him.
No. Wait. So it's funny. At the end of the book, literally wrapped this up making dinner last night. The end of the book, the author references part of the historians obsessed with who killed the prince. There is a true crime podcast about it. So you can go ahead and find it. Or you don't have to wait. So
Great.
But anyway, yeah, great book. Great book.
Awesome. Any other media? I know, Clay, I think you had a book or something.
Yeah, one of the Kickstarters I did this year paid off with the art of Liam Sharp. I'm a big fan of his artwork, especially on like Strange Tales, where he did some Man-Thing work back in the day. His art style is like very heavy metal. I love it. If you don't, I'm trying to think of Liam Sharp had a great run with Grant Morrison on Green Lantern. So a few years ago. So if you really want to check out,
did. Like, that was good.
His art is wild. Sci-fi, multimedia, weird shit. Like he gave that Volcano Head man character out of Green Lantern. He's just done really cool stuff, and then he's got a new comic out called, I think it was Stonehenge.
Dragons, and it's fucking rad. Super. I'm gonna wait till it's collected, but I read the first one. It's super rad.
Yeah, I read the first issue too, and I was kind of meh on it, but I love the art. Liam Sharp's art was amazing. So yeah,
that's it. And I think that's kind of what I think he's going to stick with. He's been doing successful Kickstarters. He included his comic as part of the book that I got, and I love getting art books by certain people. I love Frank Quietly, him, Brian Boland, Scotty Young.
Very
all over
cool.
the place. One of my favorite books this year was by Bob Odenkirk. Since I've been doing my Gen X show with Mark, I've been looking at like who is probably one of the best comedy writers of our generation, and Bob Odenkirk in his book Comedy Drama goes into his time at the Ben Stiller show. He wrote for SNL. He wrote I Live in a Van Down by the River sketch. He talks about his friendship with Farley, how Farley fell, just everything about that time period, then transitioning all the way into Breaking Bad. But I mean, Bob Odenkirk helped Tim and Eric get launched. He helped the whitest kids in the room. You see him on sketch shows everywhere. Like he loves comedy. And he's probably going to be one of the last real great Midwest comics we see for a while, because a lot of Midwest comics were just like, you would have Midwest, and you would have like guys from Harvard go work for their Lampoon, end up in SNL, and be a lot of comedy writers. But Bob Odenkirk just came from like a Chicago suburb, and just the kind of jokes and material he tells, I think, are like not necessarily, they'll be the last remnants of our generation. You're going to see more, better, different voices and more diverse comedy voices in the future, and that's a great thing. It was just at the time it was very limited. So Bob's work on SNL, I think, is fantastic. And all the stuff, I mean, he's constantly promoting new sketch comedy shows. So, I think he was even in Tim Robinson's show, I Think You Should Leave. I always see him pop up on stuff. And I love reading his book because it was a guy who just really wanted to get better at comedy. Like when him and Dave Cross did the Mr. Show on HBO, I mean, I love that show because it's so insane. Like it was almost as if no one gave them rules and said, you have to do this.
Right.
But then I made the mistake because on my show with Mark, we're doing 2002 movies. And so I picked the Bob and Dave movie, Run, Ronnie, Run.
Right.
Which is about a guy. It is the precursor, because this is 2002 is like post Fox When Animals Attack type shows. So they had aired everything that they could find. And so we were getting to the edge of reality TV. So the whole idea of Run, Ronnie, Run was, here was this guy who was a regular on a Cops-like show. What if we just filmed him 24 hours a day? And that's kind of what reality TV is. The Real Housewives is Run, Ronnie, Run.
Yeah.
It's just a different form of trash. It's just dressed up and polished. And So
It's a shinier turd.
It's a shinier turd, and it has franchises, so I guess it's the shiniest. But Run Ronnie Run was not good. It was so bad. And then I read the history of it. It's like Bob and Dave wrote this whole movie with like Brian Posehn, and then they had Troy Miller come on to direct it, and then he edited it and wouldn't let them edit it, and that's why the movie sucks so bad.
Oh wow!
It's got a little bit of humor in it, but it's just not good. But I would say, if anything, watch the weird outtakes they do at the end, because they do a parody of outtakes, so you're not sure what's really happening in the scene. The other big comic I read was Criminal Deluxe Volume 1, Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips. Nobody does crime comics better than those two. I mean, we are in a special time because the Criminal series is amazing. Every time he puts out new characters, you just don't see how low they can go. And Brubaker, oh my God, he's just so good at it.
I will say, I think Jacob Phillips is breaking out into his own with, as an artist, like in the same vein, because of the book with Chip Zdarsky, New Burn, which is also a crime book, and then also
it has that look,
that Texas Blood, which is also really, really cool, and it's kind of a crime horror book, but yeah.
And that's Chris Conroy, right?
Chris Condon, I think is his name.
Condon, okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, I've been picking that book up too. The covers are amazing on that series.
Yeah, they put out like one volume a year, so you can either read it in singles or pick up the volumes. But I think volume 3 just came out at the beginning of this year. So cool. All right. Well, I mean, we stayed pretty well on time.
Yeah.
Well
I got a couple other things if you want me to drop them real quick.
All right, Clay. I'm gonna give you 2 more minutes.
Okay, best streaming service, Mystery Science Theater 3000. Totally worth getting all the live events, and they've been putting their entire catalog on there for free while they fix tech problems. So it was supposed to end at the end of the year. They're still streaming, have free stuff. They're doing shorts. I love it because you're paying the creators. Shudder has made a big shift, and I'm not sure if Shudder is going to be the same a year from now. And that used to be my favorite streaming service. This year I discovered Drive-Thru RPG. I know Josh uses it a lot to find games, solo RPGs and stuff like that. I've loved using that this year to find just games I can just do by myself. And that's where I discovered mini painting, and I've been doing that and all last year, and that's been a huge new hobby of mine. And I'll be streaming on here this weekend, I hope.
And maybe I'll convince Clay to also stream him 3D printing stuff.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So cool, very cool. All right, well, for any of our other stuff, like I said, comics, movies, we did 2 whole shows complete about that. So that really wraps it up. I think overall, 2022 was not a bad year when it came to media. The world, whatever, but media was good. All right, let's move on. Here,
let's light this candle, huh?
We have been holding back talking about stuff we've been reading and watching on a weekly basis for a long time. So hopefully we can get through a lot of this stuff. I do want to say if any of you have any Avengers related stuff, let's just save that till the end, because then we can segue really nicely into one thing I want to talk about. Other than that, I kind of want to start with if you guys will indulge me and Josh.
Danny, your audio's cutting out.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, that's better.
Okay. Yeah, maybe just internet stuff. But yeah, I kind of want to start with Night Court.
Yeah, okay. All right. What did you think?
So I guess preface this, I've never seen the original Night Court. I've seen like little clips and stuff.
Oh my God. Okay, go download Freevee.
I think it should be on
No,
Peacock.
I couldn't. Oh, is it? I couldn't find it on Peacock. I could only find it on Freevee, but it is on Freevee for free.
No.
I know. But
services that I have to pay for, Josh.
but I'm gonna check Peacock actually. But yeah, go that that show, the original one,
Was greatness.
from the second episode, which, by the way, guest stars Michael J. Fox, and is a Christmas Story. From the second episode, knows what it wants to be. Which, when you think of shows like Parks and Rec that are classics, but they struggled through their first season.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Night Court just knew, right? And Harry Anderson gets everyone knows who their characters are, except of course the fact that they really wanted Marky Post, and she was committed to some other show, and so they kind of cycle through the
but they have Billy in season 2.
right. So anyway, but go on, Danny. I cut you off.
Well, I think the thing I will say about this, so they released the first 2 episodes of the new show,
Back to back, yeah.
and back to back. I think, I mean, I really like John Larroquette. I think his character. I don't know how much different his character. I can see he was kind of like the straight edge DA, like very stern.
No.
Oh no, not at all.
He was he was a straight up womanizer in the original series.
Oh, because he's kind of a curmudgeon now in this version.
Right.
Right. Okay, interesting.
And he was the prosecuting, not the defense attorney.
Yeah, he was the DA. Right.
Yeah.
So now he's the defender in the other one. So I like that. I like him. I like the cast around them enough. We have Melissa Rauch from Big Bang Theory using her normal speaking voice, which takes a second getting used to. And we have a clerk and the DA, and then the what's it called, the bailiff.
Oh, the bailiff. The actor playing the bailiff is 110%. She is so funny.
Yep.
I'm really here's the thing. I'm really curious if you think it's a good show, because, and I just want to stress, I watched it because I have all the feels for the original.
Right.
I love Larroquette, and quite honestly, if Larroquette had not come back, I probably wouldn't be watching it. Right. I want to see it for him and see how Dan Fielding matured.
I don't think it would have gotten made without Larroquette. I don't
think so either.
Right now, he's probably the highlight of the show. Although I think Melissa Rauch is really funny too. I don't know. The show's fine. I think it's fine. I'm gonna keep watching it because, like I said, I just love watching sitcoms. Like, I watch way worse stuff on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep watching it. Just because I think they found some interesting, like the defendants are probably the thing that they can really get me interested in, and maybe if they find someone that's really funny, that's how they can come into the show, like as a defendant, and then maybe they get incorporated into the cast, or maybe there's somebody that keeps having to come back to Night Court. I don't know.
That's what happened in the original. You had, famously, Brent Spiner of Next Generation fame.
Oh, cool.
Played a reoccurring character in the original show.
I don't even know if Night Court is a thing that still happens or it still exists.
Yeah. It does. It does actually. Yeah.
My mom actually worked Night Court out of Rowlett.
Yeah,
really?
Leonard Kim, it was neither good nor bad.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of where I stand. There was funny moments for sure. I don't think I would have watched the second one if it was, but it's not like I needed to watch the second one. I waited till the next day. So, but Josh, as somebody that loves the first iteration of the show, what did you think?
So I'm kind of torn. I felt like the very first episode maybe tried a little too hard. And I think it really makes sense. I felt like I watched them back to back. I felt like watching them back to back, it kind of makes a comprehensive story, because it's really about Dan coming back and struggling in his new role, right? I'm hit or miss with the surrounding cast, like the guy that plays the court, the clerk. Thank you, the new Mac. He's okay. I don't quite get what his character is. Same with I kind of understand a bit more the new DA.
I think the DA has a more defined character than the clerk.
Yeah. I agree. I love the bailiff. And what's so funny is just because she's in the very first scene.
Mm-hmm.
The way that she presents the character in the first scene versus what she is the rest of the first and second episode, 180-degree different, right? So you just kind of got to get used to that. But it brought all the feels, and I think the best review I read of it was Night Court doesn't improve upon a good model, right? It really doesn't. It is not a modern sitcom at all. Even down to, was anyone else surprised by the laugh track?
A little bit.
It has a laugh track?
Yes, that's exactly what I said. It has a laugh track.
Wow.
I know.
You just got a little
That
show.
is such a
There's
dated-
There he is. There he is.
There, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no.
That
sound
is
on this.
data.
Hold on.
I just wanted you guys to keep talking about it. That's interesting.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me check that. Hold on.
No, I didn't put any sound on it, so we could keep talking.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Yeah, I'm looking at the guy who wrote the first couple of shows, and he also worked on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Happy Endings,
Yep.
which I loved.
I love Happy
Yep.
Endings too, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's-
Alex Incorporated and Men at Work.
I don't know either of those, but I heard he worked on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, one of my all-time favorite shows. What? And so that also kind of convinced me. It's like, I'm gonna just give this a chance. I think I'm hoping it's gonna pull a Parks and Rec. It's gonna get
That's
to a
wild.
point
Yeah.
where it finds its footing. And its footing currently isn't bad. It's just, it really truly just, it kind of pulled like a Reno 911. And I said this, when Reno 911 came back, it was like they hadn't stopped. The format, the actors, like they never explain anything. They're just like, we're back, here we are, we're doing the same old thing again. And Night Court kind of felt like that too,
Yeah.
in a good way. So I agree with Leonard Kim. It was neither good or bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with it, like you are, Danny, and just kind of see what happens. So
It's on there.
Check it out.
Like I said, I'll watch worse stuff.
the original Night Court, which is surprising, is not on Peacock. Only
Yeah,
the
I
new
saw
one.
that. I saw that too.
Weird.
So yeah, so you have to go to Freevee, and I'm kind of bummed because I realized it was airing over the air here on one of those obscure like retro channels, and I was going to go into Plex to record it, and now it's not airing anymore. So I don't know if, again, with the new show coming out, there was some kind of pulled from syndication or what. But anyway,
All right. Well, there we did it, Man Cave Theater. We went back and touched the North Court like I promised. Cool. Okay. All right. Let's start with Clay, and like I said, hold your Avengers talk. But other than that,
Okay. We just doing comics?
whatever.
All right. Well, I went to Half Price Books and picked up my books this week and had a major haul of stuff.
Wait.
Um,
You went to Half Price Books to pick up your books?
and pick up my books.
Oh, okay.
Picked up a lot of just extra covers. This was one I had showed before that me and Shelby got for our anniversary.
nice.
Got the Jessica Jones, Luke Cage. I also wanted to bring up, I did not notice that we rewatched Jessica Jones, and remember the girl that Jessica Jones rescues in the hotel room who's
Yeah.
been told to stay there? I didn't
Yeah.
realize that she's in The Boys, that she's Starlight.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Some
interesting.
Great Lakes Avengers. I'm loving
We
Oh,
that.
said
anime
no Avengers talk. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. That's
And I found an Iron
Fist
Fist that I was missing. Just
Oh.
some. Let me see here.
very cool.
Let me get these Avengers out of the way because there's piles of them. Another habit I've gotten into is just picking up event books. So I got them super cheap. Annihilation books I'm still trying to get, but I basically put the entire Empire run together at Half Price Books because nobody wanted it. So I got
Wow.
prequels, handbooks, and the entire run of this event that I barely remember. So
Yeah,
I'm curious to read that.
I enjoyed it overall. Al Ewing, I think, is doing some really fun stuff with the Cosmic World. But it was an Al Ewing Dan Slott event. So,
Heroes for Hire. This is put as volume 1, which I always thought Heroes for Hire was Luke Cage's book, but I think that one's called Luke Cage Hero for Hire.
Hero for Hire. That's right. Yeah.
Which sucks because this is like the 90s look, so it's got a lot of.
That run was fucking phenomenal.
Is
My-
it?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. The art and story, yeah, because it's Jim Hammond funding basically the new Heroes for Hire. So you've got Iron Fist because all the other heroes are supposed to be dead after Onslaught, and so it's him trying to put his own team together. So they start off kind of like with Hercules, who kind of gets
Hey,
Yeah.
there are not enough pouches on these covers.
Yeah, this has to be late 90s.
Yeah, because I mean, you
I knew
got
it.
your required guest appearance of Wolverine,
Of course, Ghost Rider.
Deadpool.
Oh, Deadpool. But there is a Ghost Rider, right? Somewhere.
This also showcases where basically you find out that Luke Cage basically gets it done with She-Hulk.
Oh, interesting.
Well, some of this is John Ostrander writing, so I'm very on board with that. And Pascal Ferry on art, who I absolutely love. He did a great run with Adam Strange when Andy Diggle wrote it. That the art in that book is just top notch. But yeah, I think this was before that. I almost put the whole run together. Like that was the fun part. Is like since I don't get to go to cons or look at comics really much anymore, just sitting there and just pulling out stuff one after another and being able to put a whole run together is awesome. So like I'm missing like just maybe 5 books from this entire run now.
Oh,
That's
wow.
very cool.
And it's a bunch of Luke Cage, Danny Rand stuff I've never read. So, and the Avengers of the Wasteland. I'm missing one book. There was just one book missing from this run. Have y'all read this? This Ed Brinson?
I think
person?
I read the first issue because
No.
we reviewed it on the channel, but I wasn't hooked enough to keep going.
Yeah, I'm only missing issue 3. But the big thing that pulled me into this is every issue has the same artist. I absolutely love finding a series that's finished and I can go through and go, did they stay consistent? And
Right.
They did. So new books of the week. I tried to get the glare off.
Yeah, we're gonna work on these angles.
I know.
Well,
Well, I got to set up my other camera, but there's a lot of house stuff going
It's
on.
all good.
I Hate Fairyland. We're getting them by issue. We just have the hardbacks of the first volume. Scarlet Witch came out this week. They also put out a Scarlet Witch comic book box. If your store picked it up,
I saw that. I
got it.
haven't been to the shop. Well, my shop didn't have one, and I am gonna get a short box because it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's really great art. New Human Target.
Dude.
Saw that.
What's his name?
And-
What's the name of that Green Lantern? Kyle Dwarf.
Gnort.
Nor-
Gnort. Oh, Dwarf is the one from Fortress.
Donny
Yes,
Cates
yeah.
So-
finishing up his Hulk run.
That's Ryan Oddly by himself. Actually, Donny Cates is taking a break, so he's not writing the Hulk anymore. So
I
he's not
thought he
writing.
was credited as a writer on this one.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, maybe the story overall.
Was it
story,
for
but
plot?
Ryan-
Maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Oddly pretty much did all of it.
Yeah. And
Moon
Required Moon
Knight.
Knight and
Of
Scotty
course.
Young cover of the week. So
His-
it was a huge comic book week. And then whenever we get into Avengers stuff, I'll pull out that run that I put together.
Don't you threaten me with a good time, Clay?
Hold on, one last batch. We went to the library, so I was able
Yeah.
to get some Ant-Man stuff. This collected a lot of old stories that had like Bill Forrest. Is it Bill Forrester that was Giant Man in the 70s?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Forrest. Okay, and then I know you're always giving me shit, but I did get a DC book. They had Damned there, so I'm finally going to read the Bat Pole.
Hell yeah, the Bat
The
Wiener.
Bat Hulk. The Bat.
The Bat Wiener. It was the one piece of bat equipment we never wanted to see.
I
You
have
know,
two
the
copies of it. Don't you worry about that.
The problem with the Bat Wiener is it gets chafed on the Bat Pole. So.
Hold on.
Got to yell at Alfred about that. If you don't clean the bat pole, you're
More-
going to have to medicate and clean the bat pole.
Alfred, you need to wax my pole.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah,
Poor
that's all
Daddy's
the
like,
comics.
Jesus.
That's all the comics that I picked up this week.
Sans Avengers.
Man,
That's
I
crazy.
miss just going through long boxes. I know that it seems like stuff that you guys get to do at stores and stuff, but man, just being able to thumb
Not
through
really.
stuff.
I honestly rarely go through the long boxes.
Yeah, I'm just on the new
Really?
wall.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, pretty much.
I don't have
Kyle,
time.
are
to
you
read
not buying back issues?
I don't have time.
Do you buy any, Kyle?
On
No.
occasion, not as much as I have been.
Yeah.
Man, is it just the back issues are dead?
A lot of shops don't even keep that many because I think they're starting to do refunds again. So like,
Oh,
I've
really?
I've seen TikToks of shop
That's
owners like,
interesting. I did
ripping
not
the
know that.
covers off to send the books back or whatever. Or I think they send the covers back. I don't, whatever the fuck they send. So cool. All right, Josh, you have a pretty large list as well.
Yeah, I cut some stuff out because I read a lot over the past few weeks, but
Same.
I just want to review a few and then I'll talk about this week's books. Junkyard Joe #3 continues to be really interesting. Did I talk about this before? I think I may have.
Maybe, but it's been so long that the new one
Okay.
will be coming out next week.
Oh, really? Okay, then
That's
I
how
will add that to.
on the note.
I will add that to my list tomorrow. Then, hang on. So I'll just skip that for now.
I think we talked
Dr.
about the first three.
Yeah, that sounds right because
Last time we were on.
it's an interesting story about PTSD, which I wasn't really expecting. I mean, I guess I should have been, but anyway. Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise #2 is the most... okay, here. This is a question for all of you. Has Marvel ever done a comic this close to a heavy metal series?
No.
Because it feels like a 1960s comics with an X underground. It is trippy as balls. I mean, it is amazing. Yeah, no, I liked issue 2 more than issue 1. And it's still, I don't know, Danny, you can correct me, it's still making very little sense to me.
Yes.
Like I'm really not sure what the fuck's happening.
It was very difficult to do a review
Yeah.
for issue 2 because I don't know what the fuck is happening. Like
I'm glad it's not just me.
it's rant. I mainly talked about Tradmore's art.
Yeah.
And focused on that.
Yeah.
I do love that guy's stuff.
It's broken up into like chapters, like a few, and then they come out. They're not even the same size chapters. It is very weird. I think it's gonna be a better collected edition just because
I was just about to say the same thing. And hopefully they put out like a prestige edition of it. Like this needs to be like a coffee table book. It's beautiful.
And just real quick to interject, it goes to show like how much people can just change because it took me forever to read Silver Surfer Black because I did not enjoy Tradmore's art at first, like whenever it first came out. And then I went back and I think it was last year, or the year before that, I finally read Silver Surfer Black and I was like, oh fuck, I was missing out. So I don't know if I changed as like a reader or whatever, but now I can't get enough of Tradmore. Like just read stuff.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah. I love when that stuff happens because I feel like I've changed also as a comics reader for the type of art I appreciate. So
and by the same token, I'm also not as keen on Romita Jr. art right now than I was maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm sure his style has changed a little bit. Like it's changed, but into something that doesn't connect with me. And I remember tracing it back to when he did All-Star Batman with Scott Snyder, where in that book I was like, I don't think this one's like, I love his Planet Hulk stuff. I love it, but yeah, this newer stuff's not connecting as much, and which is one of the reasons I wasn't reading Spider-Man because he was the main artist. So anyway, sorry, Josh, go ahead.
No, it's fine. So I anyone else reading Murder World?
Yes.
And if so, are you as frustrated as I am with the way that it's being titled?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I gave you a heads up.
Okay, thank you.
Discord,
yeah.
Because I was like, I saw it and I was like, another #1 for Murder. The next one.
I know. It just it's pissing me off, and it also makes it hard like to recommend because you can't easily go into a store and be like, that's issue 1, that's issue 2. Like you're just like, these are all number one. And I
Yeah.
get the idea is to focus on who they're going to be facing in that issue, but I feel like there's other ways to do that, you know? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
glad it's not just me.
The
then.
next one's called Wolverine, Murder World Wolverines.
Okay.
So you can imagine what's going to happen in that one.
Yeah,
And then,
but also number one.
yeah, and then the last one's like Murder World Endgame or something like that. So,
Yeah, I saw the ad for it. I'm trying
yeah,
to
me
find
too.
it.
I
Hang
saw it
on.
this week because I was reading something else.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
So I think I'm gonna recommend the series once it's all collected.
Here we go.
Because the story, like the stuff inside the covers, is really fun.
It is. It's a super fun story, and
Yeah.
it's compelling, and it's interesting to have a superhero book without really any superheroes, right? Like the main characters are the contestants.
Yep.
And Arcade is the villain.
I'm such a big fan of arcade stuff. Like
I love Arcade.
Yeah, I do too. All right,
I
it's
don't
called.
think anyone could ever play Arcade in real life. He's too.
One final
Insane.
round.
Well,
I
hold on.
know.
Matt Berry.
Oh, see, I was gonna say, but it's probably because he's playing a very similar role in the upcoming Doctor Who season. Neil Patrick Harris.
Ooh,
I
I'm
like
right.
that.
I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna be chastised for this, but what about I'm blank on his name, but Luthor from Batman v Superman.
Oh, Jesse.
I am not an Eisenberg fan. I don't think I've ever seen a single thing I like him in.
No, but he's got that quirky.
I get that.
mental
No,
kind
I
of-
see that. I see everyone.
Zombieland and Social Network.
Yeah, I could.
And
think
those are the two I haven't seen. So
I
I
think
think
he's
those are
clear
Social
on
Zombieland.
me.
Network
Better one.
is worth it.
Yeah.
is it okay? All right. So I'm not the only one bothered by how they're rolling out Murder
Well,
World.
they did that with Man Thing last year. They had like 3 Man Thing books that were.
Yeah.
I forget
They
what the
keep
title
doing-
was, but it was Man Thing and the Avengers, Man Thing and Spider-Man, Man Thing and the X-Men.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think my complaint is just the fact that it's very clear this is meant to be a collected volume. So
Yeah.
when you have it collected, you're not confused by, and hopefully it wouldn't spoil who they're going to be facing next. And it doesn't translate to a monthly floppy format. So my question
Yeah.
is, why not just fucking release it as a collected volume? Like
Yeah.
I just
The first issue works because you don't know the premise of the book, but once
Exactly.
once we know what the premise is, we're like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Now, obviously, for the last one, I mean, there's a surprise, and there are still surprises in the story. Like,
oh yeah.
But yeah, I get that. I mean, we can do a whole show about problems with serialized comics. In fact, we've done 2 shows where we try to fix the industry. Go back and check those out on the channel.
And we did.
Yeah, I think so. I think we succeeded.
Yeah. So, all right. Am I still the only one reading Miracle Man: The Silver Age?
Yes.
probably. Yeah.
I am not.
Okay.
I'm missing one issue. That's why I haven't read them all.
Which one?
The first one, because I thought I
Okay.
got an issue 0 and I thought it was issue 1, and now
Yeah, no. I did the same thing. You can borrow mine if you want. I've got issue 1. It's really good, but you have to know Miracle Man. If you cannot jump into this book.
I'll have
Cold.
to go pull. I have like a reader, like a
Oh yeah.
reader's book that came out like in between it being published.
Well, to Marvel's credit, just because I saw it at the store, they did just release a nice hardbound omnibus of all the stuff up to the Silver Age. It's just like everything that they've republished in one nice package. So, okay, it's good, it's great. Gotham City. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was waiting for you. I'm waiting for another book. Never mind.
Oh.
Keep sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
I'm just really excited.
Gotham City Year 1, number 4. Again, is anyone else reading this?
I
It
think
is so
I stopped reading
good.
this because it's not. I don't like it episodic.
Oh, you got to stick with it, particularly if you like pulp crime. It is, and especially I don't know why I'm doing this. Especially with the way issue 4 ends. It's incredible. It's really, you're like, holy shit.
I'll
Like
try to
it
catch
is,
up.
it is fundamentally dismantling everything you think about the Wayne legacy
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Gotham.
and you do that with Phil Hester art, which is like
Oh yeah,
meant
so
for-
good. And Slam Bradley, who let's not forget is a Siegel and Schuster creation, right? So, yeah, just really, really incredible. Yeah, it is also, I think, the kind of book you can read collected. But I've actually been enjoying reading it month to month because, again, like the way issue 4 ends on this cliffhanger, I'm like salivating to read the next issue.
See, I don't want to put myself through that. That's why I haven't been reading
Yeah,
it.
and you were hype on Murder World before and told me to stay on it. And now you're
Right.
So now, like,
Yeah.
maybe I should just wait for the collected.
I agree. I feel like increasingly as I read comics month to month, week to week now, I'm getting into a sense of this works reading it this way, this does not. Right. And so Fantastic Four number 3 continues to be
That's a Johnny.
that's the Johnny, which is why when I was on 2 weeks ago, my name was Jonathan Fairweather. Which it was such. Did you guys read it? It's so fun.
Let me tell you, I don't remember the last time I pulled Fantastic Four from the shop.
Oh wow.
So
Dan Slott, that was for me. Yeah.
Ryan North he's keeping to his promise that he said on the first issue.
He
The
did.
outline of things that he was talking about, like this is what I'm doing in the book. And I think the next issue is when things are gonna start clicking.
They are, and to me, that's going to make or break it, right? Because if because the first 3 issues have been very much like we're focusing on these members of the team.
Yep,
they're fun. They're kind of like capsule episodes with a little hint of what's to come. Next one's going to make or break it, right? So
what a smart way to like showcase. Like if you've never read a Fantastic Four book, what a smart way to tell you like this is who these characters are.
Yeah,
Just give
totally
you a
agree.
full episode about. I mean, obviously, Sue and Richard get lumped in together, I guess.
Right, right. But that's also expressing who they are, right? They are a couple. They work together, ideally, right? And you get a bit of that with Ben and Alicia, but
yeah.
And then poor Johnny is just Johnny.
Are Reed and Sue the most stable couple in the Marvel
Reed.
universe?
Why the fuck did I say Richard?
Well, that's his last name.
Yeah.
Are they the most stable couple in?
I would have said for the longest time Peter and Mary Jane, but they keep fucking that one up.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and
I worry that they'll do a Reed Sue divorce thing that I never want to see.
I don't think so. I think they're. Yeah, I don't think they would ever. I think maybe Lois and Clark. But even then, like with them, they made her forget sometimes. So like,
right,
that's the only thing. But I don't think they would ever break up. I mean, and you know what? Sue Storm is a saint because Reed Richards is an asshole. So
he is a
asshole. He's the worst.
He is not. Wait, hold on. He's not Charles Xavier.
Yeah, he's also not himself from another dimension.
I mean,
exactly.
Really, like we need to have a whole episode to debate who's the worst hero, because Charles forcing kids and being in their mind, or Reed being like manipulative of reality. I mean, how close is he to being the ultimate Reed, the one that became the villain?
I think that's kind of the point of making that distinction. I think that's what it was. Like, he's so close, but he never crosses that line.
Yeah.
At least this 616 Reed doesn't cross that line, whereas other Reeds across the multiverse have. Although he did put that chip in his son when, to not let him go to Krakoa. So that was pretty fucked up. But I guess now Franklin's not really a mutant anymore because of Dan Slott. So whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, you also can look at them as parents. Like, who's the worst parent, Reed or Professor X?
I think we all just agree that Ben Grimm is the best uncle. That's not
Ben
Grimm's the best uncle. That's not really related to you, but I think a lot of people have that uncle that he's just a friend of the family, but he's pretty much uncle.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's such a good book. Yeah, I can't wait for issue 4.
Yep.
Now stuff from this past week or two. Speaking of Lois and Clark, I'll just say this. So, Action Journalism issue 4. I will confess, issue 3 left me a bit cold. I was almost like, do I want to keep reading this? This one's great, and it's the first part of 2. You go in. Well, here I'll just show you the first page.
I feel like clarify for anyone watching that the segue was because they're journalists, not because this is not a DC book.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. No. Yeah. This is Oni Press. So this book is basically Kate Kelly, the main character, is like a world star journalist, right? She, does all this stuff. Every issue has had a slightly different thematic tone, right? So the first one is very sci-fi. I'm trying to think what 2 and 3 are, but they each broach something different. This one, you open the first page, you're like, oh, it's superheroes, right? As you read it, within the first few pages, you're like, oh, she's the lowest to the superheroes Clark. I get it, right? Yeah. By the end of the issue, you're like, I am entirely wrong, and this is brilliant. And I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but if you go read this issue, you could jump right into this. Like, you don't need to read the last few. Just jump right in. By the end of it, you're like, this is the most amazing concept I've ever heard.
Which book is this again?
Action Journalism with Kate Kelly. Yeah. Go check it out. Issue 4, absolutely killer. I am so hyped for issue 5 right now. So really, really good. And I guess I should credit it's Eric Skillman wrote it. Miklos, I did this last time too. Miklos Felvidecki, I think I got pretty close. Does the art and the lettering, and it's all great. So
I believe when I tweeted the review, because
yes.
I clicked it out, I believe the artist mentioned that was very close. Yes.
Very close. Yeah, I hope I did it justice again. Okay, just a few more, and then I'll stop talking. I'm sold. Invincible Iron Man number 2, and I will tell you what I realized, and I'm glad you told me to stick with it, Danny. I'll tell you what I realized. Issue 1 is just trying to do too much. That it was actually very. It did things in the story that I didn't realize it was doing until I got to this issue.
Yeah.
And when I read this issue, I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I get it now. I get what's happening. Has a really compelling, like, subplot mystery to it. Yeah, I'm hooked. It's good. It's really good.
And
so
the
Invincible
payoff
Iron
is
Man.
really fun too.
The payoff is really fun.
The payoff
Yeah.
made me go read another book too. Like, I don't know, like catch up on other stuff that's happening.
Really?
Say Ironheart, she's her power level now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So very, very good. And again,
look, I love Gary Duggan.
That's who it is, Duggan.
Fuck yes.
And
Yeah, it's Gary Duggan and one for Gary.
For Gary, yeah. For Gary's art, just like he draws this like beaten down Tony Stark really well. Right?
Yep.
Like he's just kind of run down and he's been through a lot of shit. Like all this stuff that Cantwell put him through in the last series, plus now a whole new set of problems.
And there's real human stuff I love, which is when Ironheart goes to his new like base. It's like a warehouse. What do you call those? A storage center, and it's barren. And he has a hammock, and he's in the hammock, and something happens, and he has to turn to Iron Man. He tries to get out, and he's like, "Oh, can you help me out of the hammock?" Like we all do in hammocks, It's like they're hard to get out of. Yeah. Okay, 2 more. Avengers: War Across Time. I know we couldn't talk Avengers, but I figured he didn't mean this Avengers.
This was fun. This one was fun.
Yeah, okay. I thought you would like it in particular, Kyle. So this is, and I want to reach out to him. He's on an academic comic scholars list, email list that I'm on, by Paul Levitz. And Levitz has never written for Marvel over his long career. So this is his Marvel debut. And this takes place immediately after Avengers issue 11, OG Avengers issue 11. And it feels like reading an original Silver Age Avengers book. It's just, the whole book is a battle. That's all that it is. It is one long fight.
Yeah.
One long fight, the whole thing. You even get, and I love this so much, Iron Man's roller skates. So now let me add to that. And there's one panel in particular I wanted.
While you pull that up, when I picked up this book, I bought it because I thought it was like a facsimile copy of like an old Avengers book, because they've been doing a lot of those reprints.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. You know, I'll never have the original from whatever 1960 or whatever, but I'll have this one. And then I read it, and I was like, oh, this is not. This is a new thing.
This is what.
Correct.
Well, the other bonus with this is the art is by Alan Davis.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Alan Davis, I had forgotten this, draws fight scenes and movement so well. Look at that bottom panel of Cap and Hulk as he's just flipping around. You get a beautiful sense of how different they are as warriors by the way that Davis draws them. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, that's all the pros. The cons are, because it directly relates to original OG Avengers. We have original Wasp, who is crazy horny Wasp. And I just not a fan. It just doesn't hold up well in 2023.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what felt, because I haven't read much of the older stuff. It really felt out of character for like for it to be like that. And
exactly.
I was like, okay. Well, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's also really long. It's is it like 40 pages?
But
Yeah.
they're like sort of one shot specials. I'm okay with that.
I think there's more.
Yeah.
No. I
No,
mean,
there's more. Yeah.
But I mean, they're sort of like ones. It's like Kang taking place in different.
Oh,
parts.
I see. Yeah.
Next issue 2. Okay, last 2, and I'm doing really good and not so good. Not so good. I hated this.
Oh,
I know. This is why I want to talk to you about it. So even to the point where, so I read the description of it, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I like this, right? And so usually if I like the description, I'll give the first issue a shot. I walk into the store, and you know they hand me my comics, and I pull it to the top, and I open it, and the fact that, okay, again, I admitted I've not read I Hate Giants. I Kill Giants.
I Kill Giants.
Are all their books like this where you open it and there is no there's no ads, there's no like this is the back cover. All right. It throws you right in. It goes
weird. Okay.
It goes straight through to the end, right? And the other thing is it felt like this didn't feel like a comic made for this format. This feels like a Substack comic. And again, maybe I'm probably wrong about that, but there was no setup for the characters. They didn't explain who anyone was. It starts at like 100% and just rolls straight through to the end.
Yeah.
And it just, I kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Now I'm fine with that as a storytelling technique. I don't mind it. But the way, and that's also why I kind of felt like this is maybe a Substack comic or a web comic or something, because the way that it ends is setting something up, but I have no compunction at this point to keep reading.
So I think that was my complaint.
Okay.
First of all, I think I really like Ken Nomura's art in I Kill Giants.
Yeah.
But there are some pages here that I feel like they have very little detail on purpose. I hope it's on purpose. Like even just that page you opened up with the lion.
Yeah.
Like when you move a little bit forward, I like the splash page that follows that where it's just like him,
the car. Yeah.
So and I didn't know. Oh no, sorry, not that one. The one that's like a full page of him with the car.
This one.
Like, yeah.
So
I like that one. Although I do, it feels very manga like, not only because of lack of color but the lack of backgrounds.
Yeah.
So I did talk about that in the review, but then the other thing is that I think there's an emotional hook for this book that we didn't get to in the first issue, and it's missing that because
I agree.
Like I think, especially from the description, it talks about the sergeant having to do this one last thing with his son,
which I assume is that character on the back cover we never see in this issue,
right?
So
yeah. So I don't know. I agree with you. luckily, we will keep getting that book from Image in the near future. So I'll send you
Oh,
the next
okay.
one to see if you.
All
That
right.
way you don't have to. I do appreciate that we can read some of these books without having to spend the money before, because as many books as we try to read, like it does add up. So
Yeah.
all right, well, hit us with your good sandwich then.
I hope this is the other one you read you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Boom!
Dude.
The last issue of Batman Fortress. And I told you guys on Discord, when I picked this up, I was a little worried they wouldn't stick the landing.
Yeah,
I thought they did. What do you think, Danny?
I agree. So
Okay.
I was two behind. I was two behind yesterday. So I
Okay.
just read the last two, and I think sometimes the dialogue is a little weird.
Yeah.
And overall, I like Derrickson's art overall. I still think that he's just drawing Billy Butcher instead of Bruce Wayne.
I do not like his Superman. His Superman looks young, like really young.
Yeah,
And maybe that's intentional because what becomes clear at the end of this issue, and I've brought this up a few times about this series, is where does it take place in the DC universe? And the answer is nowhere, right? Like it is its own little thing.
yeah.
And I can't spoil anything, but things happen in this that if they happened in the normal DC universe would be world shattering.
Yeah.
Right?
It is weird that this doesn't have a Black Label like thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because how are we
Like why does
like we made a
Right.
deal that, okay, Black Label, that means Elseworlds. We've already agreed to
exactly right, exactly.
that, but then you do
Exactly.
this, so
And that's why I was so confused about where is this happening, because stuff is happening that seem like would spill over into other titles, right? So yeah, why is this not a Black Label?
When is this happening in the
Yeah.
story? So
Exactly. Or at least bring back Elseworlds as a label,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And put it on
Those are
something like
fun.
this. Yeah, exactly.
but
Um
Fortress, so it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I like the cast of characters that they picked.
yes.
There's one
It's-
moment that made me go like I just went like, damn, like
yeah.
probably know what I'm talking about.
Does it involve
it involves a crunch.
Okay. I know what Moby you mean. I was also thinking of the earlier moment where the crunch person thinks he's won.
Yeah,
And that was also really fun because it was
yeah.
good.
I like it. I like it's a really good story. It's really fun.
I really feel like once this gets collected, this is the book I would hand. I mean, it'd have to be like an older kid. I'm talking like late teens to adult. If they're like, I liked superhero books when I was a kid, but I go into the store and I don't know where to start, I'd be like, look, just read this, right? It is a contemporary mainstream superhero book with characters you know. You don't have to know anything going into it. It will have no impact on other books after it. It's a nice little just consolidated story that you can read and enjoy.
Yep,
And that's it.
100% agree.
Awesome. So this absolutely, oh, so great. I loved it. So good. So good. And so Kyle, you read it.
Yeah.
Danny read it. Clay, I will lend you all of mine so you can read them because we've got to talk about what happens.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's so incredible. All right.
It's wild seeing someone who's not Daniel hyped about Batman.
I know, right? Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's such a great, these are an interesting pair, I think, from this past week. And then I'll stop talking, I promise. Right. Because I think both do something that classic comics we grew up with did that doesn't happen much anymore. And they do them in different ways. And I think they do them at different levels of quality. But these are the types of things you could just hand to someone and be like, just enjoy a comic, right?
I want Josh to only broadcast with two comics framing his face. All right.
Anyway, all right. I'm done. You guys go ahead. Sorry.
All right, Kyle, you're gonna cover pretty much my other half of the week. So
Yeah, we all need to do that. Just
Yeah,
hold
yeah.
up
Just pick
two
up two
comics we
covers and
like.
just-
So we'll
that's how I'm
we'll,
going to do the rest of the show.
we'll do Kyle, and then we'll go talk. We'll look at Clay's Avengers Hall, and then we'll slide right into what I wanted to talk about. So go ahead, Kyle.
Let me see. So there was from 2 weeks ago. It was Godzilla versus Rivals or versus Gigan, which was interesting because it's Godzilla taking on the Final Wars Gigan, and it kind of starts off interesting because he's Gigan's people don't realize he's actually being controlled by a gamer who doesn't realize he's controlling Gigan, so he thinks he's playing like Street Fighter and doing all these whoop ass moves until he realizes what's happening. He stops playing, and then Godzilla just wipes the floor with Gigan. But yeah,
I really like these quarterly books that IDW these Godzilla versus, because they keep doing one like once a quarter.
yeah,
And they get like a completely different art, like completely different creative team, a completely different story. Like nothing is connected. Like these are not connected. Not that I've seen. They're not connected to each other. I really like them. Was it Mothra?
Yeah.
Like where like the art style was really neat. Like it was kind of like a retelling of this town being attacked, and then Mothra coming in. So yeah, these are really fun. Like if you're a Godzilla fan, I think that you don't want to read the whatever ongoing is currently happening. I think these are just fun one shots.
Next is let's see. I talked about Star Trek 3 last week. Ultraman's Secret of the Ultra 7. It basically finishes up.
Still reading it.
And end up joining the Science Force, and then you realize later, like the Ultra Father's like, I don't know if I like Earth having this power. So it's kind of, we'll see how it goes on. But it basically finishes up. Basically, the science team now has their Ultraman mech, Ultraman and Ultra 7 together, and so it's interesting to see how they're going to take on fighting the kaiju monsters.
Quick,
yeah, it was. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna ask quick. Did anyone watch the Shin Ultraman movie?
From my friend Sonny did, and he enjoyed it, but I haven't had a chance to see it.
I haven't either. I want to.
Yeah,
cool. Go ahead, Josh.
No, I was gonna say I feel like so the whole series up to this point has basically been a prelude for what's to come.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like if I had known that going into the series, I wouldn't have been so harsh on it, because I was just like, there's this stuff going on. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening, right? But by the end of it, I kind of got, I see what all this is doing. So anyway, I'm still gonna explore it, but I think the title of the series is changing this year, right?
I think so too. Yeah. Let's see. Ultraman. You already did Avengers War Across Time. Daredevil number 7 is basically Daredevil is basically getting all the heroes ready for war with the Hand, and which you found out that basically is led by the Punisher.
I'm excited about that because I caught up on Punisher, like the first volume. I think it's 1 through 5, and at the end of 5, they kind of start setting this up because I think he finally like Punisher and Daredevil finally are going to talk things out. So I'm looking forward to reading the rest of both of those series. So yeah, it's interesting to see those two characters interact.
Yeah.
Especially after they've had a very, their past is, what was it, the Garth Ennis run of the Punisher, or am I thinking of Daredevil? Whenever he's got him tied up, that they did in the series as well.
Oh. Forget.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. So.
Okay. Let me see. Then I had Mary Jane and Black Hat number 2, which this one's it's still taking part of Dark Web. Basically, they're sent into hell, and they're actually hired and contacted by I'm blanking on his fucking name.
Velasco,
who wants him to steal the Soul Sword. So they end up going to find the Soul Sword, and by the end of the issue, they're saved by Sim.
Which is the fucking weirdest savior.
I know. Yeah.
I'm also really interested in Mary Jane's current jackpot powers.
I know, which is different because she's in hell. They're different from what she had when they were on Earth. But
yeah, and even then, I haven't been reading the series, so I don't know if they've explained why she has powers.
No, they haven't.
Oh, okay, so Josh, think of it if Mary Jane had the Dial H for hero thing.
What?
But with a jackpot that nobody can see, it's only her that she can see it.
So like the three things hit, it's like a superhero's face or something.
She gets
like,
a different power based on whatever.
Oh, a power. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting. Okay.
My favorite part from I didn't talk that much about issue 1 is what is it? Black Cat ends up saving Mary Jane, and she's like, for the once, Felicia actually has guilt. It's guilt ridden because she's hooking up with Peter now, and Mary Jane's like, and trying to say, I wonder what's going on with Peter. How is he doing? And she's like, oh my god, why do you have to keep asking me about this?
And this one's written by Jed McKay, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So.
Savage Avengers number 9, basically dealing with Punisher 2099 and Miles Morales. Deathlock are the only two survivors in the future, run by Ultron. They're trying to escape the Savage Avengers who have been made into Ultron cyborgs. They get saved by Doom 2099. Savage Avengers get turned back into their normal human cells with the weapons they stole from the Avengers compound. And now they have to stop Ultron, who is a master of time. So we'll see where the issue goes from there.
I think I saw that because I follow the author on Twitter. I think they announced that in one of the upcoming issues, we're finally going to get Carnage 2099.
I think so.
So that should be cool. I didn't realize that would be his first appearance. Like, I can't believe no one's ever done.
Yeah,
Carnage
that is because Carnage appearing in the comics is almost simultaneous with the 2099 universe rolling out, right? Like,
yeah, almost.
That is weird. Yeah, you're right. Huh.
Let me see. Flash 790, which is starting this new story arc where basically this like gigantic ship, it looks like a bullet's coming down, and that first issue you go through almost all of the fucking Flash family. So you got Barry and it's Wally and Linda doing a barbecue, and they've got Donna and Roy and a couple other people there. Then you have Max, who's trying to maybe run the Speed Force to hit the future again. You have second Wally, Kid Flash, who ends up getting help from Bart, and so you got the two tweens now who was to be where Bart's like saying, hey, I was already Kid Flash, you got to do better and blah blah blah. So you got the two tweens kind of going at it. You have not Jessica. What am I thinking of? Not Liberty, but why am I?
Jesse Quick,
who's working with Our Man, and they're taking doing a fighting crime, and then Barry, who's meeting with Linda to talk about where their relationship's going. And then when the thing hits, everyone else gets thrown back, and you find out later that basically Barry's like, Linda, where are you? And you find out she's dead.
Oh wow!
So
good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the other thing is that
Jay. They also throw in Jay. Jay's there.
Yeah. These invaders, Josh, they are also Speed Force users, so they're moving super fast. So everything only the speedsters know what's happening with like an alien.
Oh, because only they can see that.
Everyone else is pretty much, or anybody that doesn't have a connection to the Speed Force is pretty much standing still. It's called the 1 minute war. So the whole thing, all these issues are gonna happen within 60 seconds.
That's cool.
So
I
might have to read that. That's awesome.
I wasn't reading the Flash, but then there was 2 issues with like just the rogues, like the mayor deputized them, and I thought that was gonna be a more interesting story. It didn't pay off, unfortunately, but I still like to see the rogues as like these deputized things. But then at the end of the second issue,
it also brings back Pied Piper. We get to see Pied Piper.
Yeah, that was cool.
Who's the writer?
Jeremy Adams is writing the series now.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with any other work before this stuff. So, but yeah, then I got the previews and I was like, it was a small DC week, so I was like, okay, which one should I review? And 790 being the start of a new event felt like a good starting point, but I really enjoyed it. So I also did a small video for 791, which came out this week. So if you haven't read that one, go check it out, Kyle, because it's.
Oh, yeah, I read it.
Okay, yeah, I just like seeing all the speedsters being involved and everything. It's really fun.
Then we had we talked about it a little bit last week. I'm just gonna throw in Human Target number 10. It was nice to see what the main character being drinking buddies with Gnort. I thought that was awesome.
And we're getting 11 this week already.
Yeah, nice.
Oh wow!
I read it yesterday to do a review for it, and it's the penultimate issue, so like It's really good.
We got Invincible Iron Man #2, which Josh already talked about. Gargoyles #2, which is continuing the story, basically at dealing with the clan, waking up from their hibernation sleep, find out from Elisa that she's been drugged and that her, I guess technically sister-in-law has been kidnapped because she's about to give birth, and that basically the whole person behind everything is the clone versions of the Gargoyles, and they're basically trying to frame Xanatos. So this is like, yeah, and like I said, you've got the whole new clan, but it's the normal 7 with including Goliath's daughter. You have Brooklyn, who's been throughout time and now has his family, and then you have the 2 cyborgs who are now part of the clan. So it's the whole gigantic clan, everything going on.
I want to read this because I know it's a continuation of the cartoon.
Well, sort of. It's a continuation of the cartoon, and then I want to say then it was basically it's a continuation from where I think it was the original IDW run that came, because
I see.
The second half had Brooklyn thrown through time, and he finally arrives back in the past, and then he realized he's married, has a son, married to a gargoyle from the Japanese clan. They have an egg that he's going to take time to hatch. He's got an eye patch, and basically we have another like dog-like creature named Foo Dog. So it's like,
okay, because I want to read this, but I need to at least like maybe watch a few episodes of like some of the main episodes to like.
It's not going to. I wouldn't. You want to read the maybe at least watch like maybe a couple of the episodes where they introduce other gargoyle clans. But
yeah, that's the main thing. It's been so long.
You want to read the comic book more. This
Okay.
It ties more into the original comic book run than it does the cartoon. It is a continuous cartoon, but it's not going to really. The comic book is where basically this is kind of going from. So the comic book is a continuation from. It's kind of.
Yeah, because it's been so long since since I watched the cartoon, I've never gone back to revisit it. So,
and Josh Lee is right one of the 2 I really want to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about the last one, and then we'll come back because I think Josh might want to hear about the other one.
I was Stargirl. I'm hoping Clay gets back because I've got.
Yeah, so we can wait for those.
Yeah, but I think this is what I had talked about before. How they were going to basically they're going to add the Titans to Bloodhaven, but basically it's Nightwing basically being told by Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, we're disbanding the Justice League. You're in charge now. And so he basically brings in the original new Teen Titans and builds a new Titan Tower in Bloodhaven. They're the new Justice League.
Yeah, it is. I'm so glad Tom Taylor's doing this series because I'm having so much fun with it. Oh, great. Everyone's back.
Yes. You get to talk about it too. Okay.
So,
Sorry.
Have you read Nightwing #1000? Or 100? So this is the issue. This is the issue where basically I told you, Nightwing has basically been told by Superman, Clark, Diana, and Bruce that they're disbanding the Justice League, and they basically want him to lead the new formation of the Justice League. So basically, what does he do? He announces that Bloodhaven is now the new home of the Teen Titans. So basically, it's the original new Teen Titans with the new Titans Tower in Bloodhaven. So they're the new Justice League.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's so much fun. It's been such a fun run since I don't know, whenever Tom Taylor started 74 or whatever.
Well, it's great. It's because who's the new villain? The guy who's ripping out
Heartless.
Heartless.
So,
He basically does. Go ahead.
That's my least I love everything that's going on except Heartless. I don't really like him as a villain as much. I think Blockbuster was so cool.
Oh yeah.
Because they have so much history. But Heartless is fine. He's just, I don't know him very well yet as a villain.
I like it because he does a whole jailbreak of Bloodhaven's prison, and so and he goes, and this is kind of funny because some of the inmates don't want to be a part of Heartless because he's killing children, he's doing all this stuff. They actually drop the things. But all the people he's hired and some of the main supervillains he's released are still going to terrorize Bloodhaven. So he goes, "What's okay? I've got friends." So Oracle contacts the Titans. Raven, they all come in and they all start taking everybody down. They have apparently this one villain called Elephant Man, who's this gigantic mutate elephant dude. And so they send Gar, Cyborg, and Donna after him. So Gar tries to go forms a elephant and tries to do the whole headbutt, but gets kind of knocked down. So Donna just comes down to the drop kick and puts him
that was really fun.
Oh my god!
I think it's gonna be like if Tom Taylor was just writing the Titans for the next few arcs, which is gonna be really fun. I think.
Well, it's also the fact that it's the Titans are now grown-ups, so they're the new team, so they've proven all the time.
Yeah.
And then the one I really want to discuss, because I know none of you guys are probably reading it. It's
Stargirl. I don't read it, but I picked it up because I really like this cover, so I picked it up. But I'm not reading this.
No, I've got it set up here because I've got to go through this because this is where we learn about all of the the new sidekicks, even the ones we never knew about, they're going to probably be joining once they save them all, joining the DCU. So she ends up getting saved by Wing, Airwave, Time Lost, Living Frequency, Cherry Bomb, who's the sidekick for the Human Bomb, from the and then you also have Robbie the Robot Dog, Time Lost sidekick of the Golden Age Robot Man.
Damn.
Yeah. And
Wait, are these all the ones that were introduced at the back of that Justice Society
Yes.
one shot?
Yes.
Fuck, I need to be reading this then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it gets better because then we go into basically where she ends up meeting. Okay, so she ends up seeing all the rest of the kids. The Newsboy Legion, who of course are the sidekicks of the Golden Age Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have TikTok, who is Our Man's Golden Age sidekick.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, it gets better. Hold on. I'm running through. I got to run through all these because this is freaking amazing.
TikTok sounds like Clockmaster's sidekick more than.
Or just any teenager on social media.
Then you have John Henry Irons, who's the sidekick for the original John Henry. You have
Wow.
Molly
cool.
Pitcher and Betsy Ross, who are the sidekicks for Miss America.
Oh.
Huh.
Roseville Rivera, who's the sidekick for Red B.
Damn, that's one I haven't heard in a while.
I know. The last time I heard anything about Red B was basically that Starman issue when he's at dinner.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like a 90s reference.
Yeah. And then you have Salem, who's the sidekick. She's a witch, sidekick for Dr. Fate. You have Quizkid, who's the sidekick for Mr. Terrific.
Huh.
And then come on, go do what you're supposed to do. And then you have I'm Corey Baxter, Time Master. He's the sidekick of Rip Hunter, the original Time Master. And then you also get introduced to another sidekick. It's Jay Garrick's daughter.
Ooh.
Wow.
So, and they're all being kidnapped by this harpy kind of character called the Childminder, who's basically trying to keep them all until they get adopted by their new stepfather, who you don't know probably until the next issue. But yeah, we're introduced to a whole bunch of sidekicks, time lost sidekicks that we never knew about, and once they get introduced into the back in the new normal comic book, we're going to have a lot more of the Golden Age and original, like just JSA stories coming out. So
That's cool. And this is by James Robinson?
yep.
Okay.
And
That's
Tom the Nook,
what I
and written by drawn by Tom the Nook. So from a Young Justice fan.
Oh, I love his stuff. Yeah.
You got to be picking this up. This is freaking amazing. And plus, it's Emiko, Red Arrow, who's gone with Stargirl to try to find. It's sort of a continuation from the Stargirl summer special we got last year or the year before. So it's trying to find, the Crimson Avengers sidekick Wing, and they realize he's still alive on this island that nobody can get out of. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
God, that's awesome. All right. Because I kept seeing it advertised and I was like, I didn't realize it was spinning off of that Justice Society one shot.
Yeah, where he has all the different sidekicks. It's like now you get to figure who all the sidekicks are, and it's basically almost like when the Wing, Cherry Bomb, and the other one try to take Stargirl. It's like they walk into the hideout of the Wasp Boys on Neverland.
Oh wow.
So it's
but is this story also resolving the murder mystery from that, or is that going to be in another spinoff series?
No, that's different. That's going to be in JSA. This is just because
this is just the sidekicks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
now there's still one that you read that you haven't talked about yet that I read, and I want to talk about.
Rival, Star Trek 3, Ultraman, Avengers, Across for Time, Daredevil 7, Savage Avengers, Mary Jane, Flash 790, Human Target. Which one?
Joe Fixit.
Oh, we talked about that last week.
Did you? Yeah. Oh, all right. Shit. Okay.
Mr. Joe Fixit and Miss Scarlet Witch #1 are my two bigs from last week, but I like that because they both feel like the comic books we're missing from the 1990s.
Right. Yeah. Although, and again, this is a minor quibble, but so it feels like David wanted to return to Joe Fixit kind of in the same way that he returned to the New Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah.
But the thing he explicitly did in the New Fantastic Four was he said, this takes place after this issue from the 90s, right? So you knew in the timeline where it was. That doesn't happen in Joe Fixit.
Oh, yeah, it does.
When the fuck is this? Where? When?
Well, hold on. It takes place right after it was a two-parter with the Incredible Hulk and Web of Spider-Man, where basically in Las Vegas they have a bunch of cyborgs who have a war every year to see who can become the. It's like I'm trying to think of, but basically it's they end up it's like the 4 cyborg like kind of not bounty hunters but like combatants who basically tried and they'll take out anybody, but it's basically last man standing, and whoever was the last man standing they had to buy the drinks, and so it takes place. Web of Spider-Man #1 because it takes place. This is during the late 80s, late 89 or 90 when Spider-Man is on his book tour when he's doing the tour for his
Right.
webs.
Okay.
So
His photos.
yeah, and so basically it starts off in Web of Spider-Man first, and then goes into Incredible Hulk, and basically Peter's about to leave Las Vegas until he realizes Kingpin's there, and he goes, "Well, crap," and so he goes.
But unless I missed it, unlike in the new Fantastic Four series, he never explicitly mentions those issues for readers.
No, he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't explicitly, but I knew where it was. But I had.
Well, you do because you're Kylepedia. I didn't.
I had
and any other reader, I just found it.
Wikipedia. This is me actually having owned the issues and loving that story.
Well, but I just found it weird that if you're all right, 2023, you're a new reader, you're in the comic store, you're like, this is kind of a Hulk. What's this? Unlike New Fantastic Four, which the same scenario you pick up and it says this takes place immediately after Fantastic Four issue number blah 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 blah. Right? You can go back and find those and kind of get the backstory. None of that is listed here. It's a minor quibble, I admit, but if he's going to return to all of his greatest hits from the 80s and 90s, which I'm all for, we know that I consider his Sin Eater story the best Spider-Man story of all time.
Hold on, I'm trying to find if I can find the issue.
Just be clear about it, right? Like, just let the reader know this isn't taking place in the current MCU.
Yeah.
So,
well, no,
anyway.
no, it is in the MCU. It's just not current time MCU. It's like Avengers Savage Time. It's like
right. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we can go on. I'm being enormously pedantic. I'm sorry.
Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Give me a second. I'm about to. Daniel, give me I need help here real quick.
Fill time. We need fill time.
Fill time.
It's available.
It takes place right after Incredible Hulk number 349.
349. Okay.
Yeah. So if you can, there's a link. It has the covers, so you can see which issue this takes place after.
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk 3.
I'll send me like this. Might as well be like an Arcade Fire link. Because it is comics and no one cares to update.
Oh, that's such a great random reference. I love it.
Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see
had
that.
to look that up
Okay, I
too.
see that. But you also get what I'm saying about the website, right? It looks like it was from 1988. I don't even know if they had internet then.
It's
no. I mean, we had
BBSs.
BBSs. We had Prodigy, right? So like kind of walled garden internet, if you will.
I believe AOL was around at the time.
I believe they were. Yeah, they spun out of. You had AOL, Prodigy. Yeah. There was another CompuServe.
Sorry.
Sorry for the comment.
I thought
I just assumed Danny was showing us his haircut from the 80s. So
no, I was gonna show. Yeah.
I was in junior high.
I was gonna show the clip that Clay made with me processing, but
anyway.
Yeah. But it turned out to be a 23-second clip. All right, we're already at 2 hours. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I know.
With Clay's Avengers haul, but I did have two things that I wanted to real quick. They're both Avengers related. One's good news. The other one's also good news. So it's a good news show. Oh Jesus, that's gonna take 3 hours.
No.
So I wanted to first of all share an update from Hawkeye himself, Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
He posted this earlier. So for those that don't know, Jeremy Renner was in an accident with a snowplow. He was trying to help some people, get off the snow, and I guess the snowplow ran him over or something like that. But he's got broken bones. Hopefully he recovers very quickly, and not for any movie reason. I just he's a human being, so I hope
He's a human being,
okay.
and we wish him well.
Yeah, that's right. But that he tweeted that right before we went live. So, or a little bit.
Oh,
before,
nice.
so
Okay.
So I want to bring that up. The other thing is, you guys mentioned, and a few of you guys are reading Jason Aaron's Avengers, and you guys kind of know that he's building up to his big end game, right? Whatever. Yeah. So yeah, insert the Snyder Cut thing flying by the screen. But this week, Marvel announced that at the end of that, the Avengers will stand again after whatever cataclysm is happening. Run by Jed MacKay with art by CF Villa. So Jed MacKay has been writing some of my favorite stuff recently, including, but not limited to, the Black Cat series. He's also writing that Black Cat Mary Jane series that Kyle talked about earlier today. He's also doing Moon Knight. What was the other series? Oh, he's also writing the Strange book. So he did the Death of Doctor Strange and the Strange book with
that's right, yeah,
as Doctor Strange. So yeah, and this is the cover for the new Avengers book, which it's a pretty cool lineup, I think.
Yeah, I do like that.
Feels a little West Coast Avengers, but I think that's just the Wanda and Vision of it all. Right?
There's a clip you got to pull out. The Wanda and Vision of it all.
But yeah, I'm super excited. So this will come out in May, and yeah, you can go read the article. He also did all this timeless stuff they've been doing with Kang. I'm sure that's already setting up seeds from McKay's story, so you can go read that. And I think also Stuart Immonen is going to join the team as well.
Ooh, love Stuart Immonen.
Yeah. So really cool stuff. This year is going to be the 60 years for the Avengers. So I mean, Marvel's probably going to make you buy too many comics.
Of course.
So with those two Avengers news, we'll finish out the show. Well, hold on, I guess we'll let Clay talk about his comics. And then we'll do. There's only two. I don't really have anything to recommend. I do have something to plug. Fuck. Okay, let's just keep going. Clay, go ahead.
No, this was just the biggest haul I got this week. Was from Half Price Books was Jason Aaron's run. I got issue 2, 4. I'm almost able to put this whole thing together. So
wow,
it's just exciting. Just questing again, picking up the physical books and getting them cheap, super cheap at Half Price Books. Everything. My wife, everything on the table. My wife works at Half Price Books, so as part of some of their bonuses, she gets money put on an employee card. So she'll just say, "Hey, let's just go shop, and we'll just go around Half Price Books buying stacks and stacks of comics."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. When you guys are looking for stuff, like you said, you don't look for old stuff anymore.
Well, I mean,
you guys look
not recently.
Yeah, I'm curious. Whenever do you ever want to go back and collect a run, or is it pretty much just trades and hardbacks for you now?
No, but like I said, I want to get the my things currently are. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I've been the what do you call it? I want to get the what ifs, and then I also just after picking a few of them up recently, I want to go back and collect at least the early part of the classic X-Men run before they became X-Men Classic. I just want to get everything up to classic X-Men because that's after that it was kind of. And then other than that, I think it was there anything else I was going to, but it's just, when I looked at it, just sometimes I had to be careful which Half Price I go to, because when I go to the Half Price at Northwest Highway, their back issue selection is kind of crap, but I can go to some of the smaller ones and they have better stuff in there, and especially on the trade paperback section. So it depends on which one you go to. The Half Price book that's up in Harlan by what's one that's up there basically has shit back issue selection.
This is Northwest Highway. This is the one I got all this from.
Okay. Yeah, but you
Well,
got, you
and,
got
and
all
I think it's because Kyle's looking for a lot more older stuff.
Yeah.
Like this is all modern back issues. They have a ton of because people. I feel like I don't know if maybe
Read 'em and
somebody just
unload
buys a
'em.
lot of comics, reads them, and then just goes dump them at half price books to try to get some money back. I don't think I wouldn't. I don't think it's a shop because I've gone there where I see a full run of something that came out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
like,
wow.
yeah.
Huh.
Maybe not.
No,
that long, but, yeah.
You know, now that and I'm kind of hitting the 1 year mark of getting my books every week at a store in print. But I just went through. I just filled up one box of comics, and to free up some space, I went in and I pulled all the issues I just tried out that I didn't like. Right, so I'm going to sell those at half price. Just the ones that I read because the description sounded good. Didn't care for it. You know, so.
Yeah, I'm
Cool.
starting to curate
All right.
more space stuff, but I love Jason Aaron's stuff, and who's the artist on the Ed McGuinness? Ed McGuinness is just so great. He has that comic book look down, and him doing the Avengers and some of the stuff, the celestial stuff that happens in here, the vampire stuff. Oh my god, I just love seeing his take on it.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of my favorite Avengers runs. And
Ed
now I'm
McGuinness
even
is,
considering getting Hickman's.
You should. Oh, dude. So one thing I do want to hunt down is Hickman from the beginning of his Fantastic Four run, all the way through the end of Secret Wars.
Wow.
That's a lot. So,
Yeah.
but I think that's something I would like because I have a lot of it because that's kind of where I started reading comics. But I didn't pick up his Avengers title. I only picked up the New Avengers and the event stuff. But McGuinness is
Avengers
doing
is great.
Yeah, McGuinness has been writing. I mean, he's been drawing the Amazing Spider-Man issues for this Dark Web, and I just love the way he does the Venom because he's back to this big, muscular, brute Venom.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love McGuinness. He was one of my favorite artists too in the Superman Batman series that Jeff Loeb did years ago.
Yes.
Mhm.
That one I
Yeah.
do have almost all 87 issues of it. So that one I do need to fill in some spaces. But that's pretty cool. I'm gonna make Clay make some videos of his haul, some little shorts.
Nice.
The
Nice.
little one. So he'll show you in little piles. So we can see more detail. But okay. I think that was it. The only other thing I had.
I have one thing I want to throw out.
Sure.
Yeah, but there'll be a recommendation. Go, Dan.
Okay, I just wanted to say something that I had on my list of things that we've seen in. If you're one of those people that for whatever reason still has Prime like me, I'm sorry I still have it, but I really like Jack Ryan, the John Krasinski.
Oh,
show.
okay. Yeah.
I'm not a Tom Clancy
You
person.
can pirate those shows and not give Amazon money.
I've heard.
I just heard that on the internet.
Yeah, I've heard.
I just heard that.
I'm not like a Tom Clancy type of person. I've never read the books or anything, but man, that Jack Ryan show is really fucking good. And I don't even like about politics. It is weird because it does have to do with some stuff going on in the area, the Ukraine area. So I don't know when they wrote this.
They usually take old Tom Clancy plots and update them.
Yeah.
But for series-based stuff, I think it's all new material from all new writers.
Also, season 3 or 4 of Mythic Quest, the Apple TV show.
I've got to watch that.
It is so much fun. It's really good. There's always one episode where they do a flashback to explore the characters in the show more when they were younger or stuff like that. Those are always the best.
I feel like Apple has enough money. You could pirate these shows too.
Oh, you can pirate anything you want, anything to your heart's content. And speaking of pirates, I finally started reading One Piece.
Oh my god! Wow, and you will be reading it until you die
forever. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm in no rush to catch up to anything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the manga, and when I get to whatever cool animated fight happens, I'm gonna watch the anime.
You know, I've heard that the One Piece JRPG that just came out last week is really good, and so I might.
The reason I am reading One Piece is because I got into the One Piece TCG.
Yeah, that's right. I saw that. I remember that video
and
when you.
I love all the art in here, and I'm like, why the fuck have I not been reading One Piece? So yeah, I'll let you guys know how that goes. But like I said, I'm in no hurry. There's no time limit on this.
Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, no. Look, I've met people that they read One Piece like within a year span, and they caught up. Yeah, it's insane.
And they didn't eat or sleep or use the bathroom.
I don't think so. They just live on the Shonen Jump app, which is the
there you go.
To read it. So
it is, yeah.
And the last thing you can go back and check out. Oh,
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say the last thing you can go check out my review for the first episode of The Last of Us. Holy shit! That
I need to watch that.
Okay. Here's my problem. I've heard that it basically is the exact plot of the game, and I've always meant to play. I've always meant to play the games, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to watch the show if it's gonna tell me what the game is. You know,
so
like
watch the show
bit by bit.
Watch the show.
I think you can watch the show, and that'll prompt you to want to start the game faster.
Okay.
Because obviously they can't only cover so much in the first season, right?
Right.
Or even in this first. And I already kind of know what happened. My brother plays The Last of Us a lot, so we talk about the game a lot.
Okay.
Especially because it was in the news a couple times, sometimes for bad reasons, because people are shit. But it's really good. Like, even knowing kind of like where this is all going, it's really good. Pedro Pascal's great. I don't even want to say. I won't say it. I already talked about it in the review because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone that hasn't seen the show. And I do get into spoilers in the review. There's a clear demarcation where I start talking spoilers. And also they have a podcast with the creators of the show that is hosted by the voice actor from the game. He also does Travis Baker.
That sounds right. It's not Troy Baker, is it?
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker. Okay.
It is Troy Baker. I was gonna say Travis Barker, but that's the drummer for a band. Never mind.
Probably a band I have never heard of because I'm an old man.
Is it Blink 182? I think it's.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, Blink 182.
Is that Travis Barker?
Travis Barker is the drummer for Blink.
Like I said, music stopped in high school, so I think I caught a little bit of Blink. But yeah, Leonard Kim, Mythic Quest flashback, never missed. Yeah, I'm telling you. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because it's really fun stuff, and I'll be doing weekly reviews for The Last of Us because now that House of the Dragon isn't happening, I can do that. I have Sunday nights available to do that as it comes out. So yeah, really, really cool. Okay, let's wrap up this thing and go eat because I'm hungry.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Yeah. Well, we'll do recommendations.
Yeah.
So
I got this is just real quick. I meant to those in the comics I picked up, but I was over at Kino, the Japanese bookstore yesterday.
Yeah.
And they had Kamen Rider Kuga #1 translated.
Nice.
So in Tokusatsu, they got the first issue, and this is basically one of the series that kind of relaunched back in like 99, 2000. That kind of relaunched Kamen Rider back into the actual scene of. Let me see. Back into the scene of live Tokusatsu.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, I just picked it up yesterday, so I still haven't fully ready yet. But it was Kuga, and I needed to pick it up. So.
Very cool. All right, Josh, let's start with your recommendation. And you want to pull up the link yourself?
No. Actually, I can show you in person. So, I want to admit this is ridiculous. All right, but I have the Target app, so every time I buy groceries, it gives me a certain percentage back. I was at Target yesterday, and I had enough to completely get this.
Oh, nice!
What?
Wait for it. Hang on. Where's the? Oh fuck! I knew it was gonna happen. Hang on. Shit. Fuck. Hang on.
Right back, man.
All right. Just stand there, Bruce. Hang on. So watch. All right. Hang on. Watch this.
Spoilers.
Do you see the blue light?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
He lights up under his cape.
Well, it's supposed to light the lightning, but it doesn't really do a good job. So
It's like the shot at the beginning of the show where he's
exactly,
saying,
it's that end shot. Now, my only complaint about this is that he's enormously top heavy because, of course, this Batman is not meant to be physically possible, but there's a little post in the base, so he's got 1 foot on it. It sort of stabilizes him. It's really cool. I dig it. I need to find a place for it. Is my problem. I have nowhere to display this currently, so it's sitting on top of my 3D printer. There you go. But it also comes.
I'll put a shelf right here.
Okay.
You can just live here.
But what's cool is it also comes with, if you don't want them on that display, it just comes with a little round stand you can stick them on. So anyway, it's cool. It's a great sculpt. I mean, it just looks.
I do like the cape.
Yeah, and this is vinyl. Like at first, I thought it was like hard plastic, but it'll move a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But it just always sticks out, like the wind flapping. So yeah, it's neat. I dig it.
Amazing.
So, anyway,
I am so jealous. I want to go to Target right now.
they have them. They're there. I think it just came out. So
I do like Target.
yeah, me too. I should not be allowed to go into the collector section.
I always get discount toys there.
Yeah.
What's marked down?
Yeah, right.
Maggot. Maggot's on discount.
Nice.
I love
Right.
Maggot. Bring it back to the X-Men.
What do you got, Clay?
In recommendations, I found this channel called OSI 74, and it's just you almost have to like read about it because it's just weird old film and TV. It said that they take their inspiration from drive-in movies, backyard movies, community media, film festivals, comic books, mom and pop video stores, and the space race. It's just and they have different shows on there, but they air old media, lost or forgotten media that's fallen into the public domain. And I've been watching them on Twitch, and it's pretty amazing watching people discover things that are pretty fucking great that they show. Because they were showing Assault on Precinct 13, and there were people in chat that at first were like goofing on it, because they wanted to be like riffing, like it was Mystery Science Theater. The tone of the chat changed as they saw this was a real crime drama playing out. They were like, "This is so gritty and
like,
real looking."
Oh, this is not the Ethan Hawke one.
Yeah, this is not the Ethan Hawke.
Wait, Church of the Subgeniuses on here? Holy shit!
They have Arise. They have some of their old stuff on here.
Oh my god, this looks what an amazing find. This is great.
I love it. I love like the theme and tone and look of it because it's very just some of the shows on here are very Mystery Science Theater. But yeah, you can just stream it. You can add it to your Roku. You can just add the channel. You can add the channel, or you can just watch it on the web. I watch it on Twitch a lot, and they said that helps support the channel the most if you can't subscribe or pay because all the ads that run pay them. But if you like really weird shit like me, check it out.
If you still have Amazon and you get that free Twitch subscription, you might as well put it to something cool like this.
Yep, that's a really good point. I try to do that every month. I pick a channel that I like and give them my free Prime subscription.
All right,
this is great, man. I love it. They do also have a Patreon, I'm seeing, so that's another way to support them.
Kyle,
but of course, so do we.
Oh, yeah, of course. Which we're building those tiers out. We're just putting a list of movies together that you guys are gonna make us suffer with. So
Green Lantern.
Well, not Kyle last week.
Green Lantern all the way.
Which I'm glad that I think somebody commented on. I posted it on multiple platforms. Somebody just commented, "I agree." I don't know what they agree with. I don't know if they agree with Kyle. I don't know if they agree with Clay. They just said, "I agree," and I was like, "Okay, cool."
So here's the thing: each of us can walk away from that comment going, "They agreed with me."
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Kyle, did you have any other recommendation?
No, I was
Okay,
gonna say
cool.
just I don't know if you heard, but they have that new part 2 of that new Dragon Ball Super story where it deals with Goten and Trunks as the new Simon.
Oh,
I
what?
understood none of those words.
So the Dragon Ball Super has a new story arc where basically it's Goten and Trunks as teenagers. They're basically Great Saiyaman number 2, 1, and 2. They're taking over Gohan's superhero name, and it's a new
What?
story arc from that.
There's a new chapter and I didn't know. Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Ah!
I read it
Breaking
already.
I
Breaking
haven't. I didn't
news.
know. There's so many. I thought they were taking a break for like a year.
No.
Okay. I mean, to be fair. Oh wait.
To be fair,
Oh yeah, because they dropped 87 in August. There's 2 new chapters that I missed. I missed December and January.
Yeah.
Holy shit! All right. Well, I know what I'm doing this weekend. So that'll
We'll
be
take it
on
on
my
board.
list. Yeah. Okay. So real quick, my recommendation, and this is something I haven't read yet, but it's not a new book. This week, DC Animated dropped a trailer
Oh, yeah.
for Batman: The
Yes.
Doom that came to Gotham.
I am
And
so
I
hyped
saw-
for this.
I saw who
Oh,
this
man.
was. Like, I saw the book that this was based on, and it's this book that
Yep.
we have on the screen.
Yep.
Mike Mignola, Richard Pace, Troy Nixie, Dennis, like Dave Stewart. Like,
Dave Stewart.
I'm
Yeah.
on board.
It's
I am super on board. I'm gonna read the shit out of this before the movie comes out. So I'll be checking this out. Also, if you have HBO, Super Sons movie is now on HBO
Yeah.
Max. If you haven't seen it, which is really good. And then the last thing I'll plug, because we've gone on forever already. So as you guys know, I'm a regular contributor on the Ivory Comic Books podcast. Tomorrow,
yeah.
they are doing their first live show for their annual. So
Oh.
I will be on that tomorrow night on
Awesome.
YouTube or Twitch. Around it's 8 Eastern, so 7 Central. But if you follow me on Twitter, I specifically read a couple things to talk about there. So, but man, I'm pretty excited. We've been
I'll try to
doing
jump in the
some
chat.
extra stuff.
Yeah, same. That's awesome, man.
So yeah, just come by, say hi in the chat. There's also it's a different audience than what we have here because we don't really focus on the Twitch part of this, even though we broadcast on Twitch.
yeah.
So there's gonna be like a competition of like where the biggest audience is for this, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch, because they're completely different platforms with completely different audiences.
Right, right.
So that'd be really interesting to see. But yeah, if you follow me on social media, stay tuned for that. And of course, we got a bunch more reviews. Tomorrow, I'll do another Mayfair Witches review, which I'm still pretty on board with. I've never read any of the Anne Rice stuff, but I can't believe that AMC is just taking all that stuff and adapting it. But in the meanwhile, if you have Shudder recommendations, let me know because I have AMC Plus right now because of that show. So, okay, I think we've talked long enough.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nice.
I don't know where the exit. I forgot to look for the thing to leave. So we're just gonna get out of here. All right, bye everyone. No exit, no outro today. Bye.
Bye. Bye. You guys stay cool.